So lane 2, Italy, lane 3, New Zealand, lane 4, Slovenia, lane 5, Sweden, lane 6, Germany, lane 8, Chinese Taipei, and lane 9, Puerto Rico.
Lane 9. Thank you, gentlemen. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the first heat of the men's K1 200 meter. Great start from lane 5 from Peter Menning here from Sweden, taking an early lead over the rest of the field. But Germany's Jonas Draeger staying with him, as well as Italy's Giacomo Cinti. Close racing as we're approaching the halfway point here of this race. It looks like Peter Menning may have just the nose ahead of the rest of the field, but about 50 meters to go as we're closing the race here. First will advance directly to the A final, but late charge by Germany's Jonas Draeger here as we get to the line. But it does look like Peter Menning will be taking this first heat of the men's K1 at 200.
Yeah, it was a great race by Peter Menning. Yeah, he really had about a half a boat at the end of it. So, like I said, you get off the line and you try to extend that lead, and that's exactly what he did there.
Yeah, thumbs up. And like you said, Mark, right from the beginning, I wonder if you could give us a little bit of insight into the preparation that goes into the 200. Like, what are you focusing on in the final days and hours before an event, before the event?
So final days and hours, you put in all the time and effort to get to that point. So it's really just staying sharp, you know, doing the workouts to keep all those systems going. But really, it's a matter of, you know, there's hours spent sitting in hotel rooms and bottling up that energy and figuring out a good way to, you know, to make use of it. So trying to manage that stress, just thinking about relaxation and maybe doing something fun with your friends. Because the training load does drop towards the competition, and it's really just about that sort of fine-tuning that you're into. So, yeah, I'd say it's more of a mental thing leading into the competition like this.
And speaking of the mental side of things, like, this race happens so quickly. How conscious are you of what's happening around you and what's going on with the other athletes?
Yeah, so I guess I'd always been trained to just focus on my own lane. You can figure it out at the end. So, in fact, I raced Peter Menning back in 2013 when he became the world champion, and I was second to him by about 5 inches. So I think it was 300ths of a second or something. And, you know, that could have been the difference of just a small win. So I think we both had our heads in our lane, but those little tiny things can make a huge difference.
Wow, yeah, that's really insightful, especially in a race as close and as quick as that one.
Yeah, so just getting confirmation of those results, Peter Menning taking the win here, just under 36 seconds. So we'll watch for the other heats as the wind's fairly low right now, and then I can get a good indication of the form of some of the top contenders for this title this week. So we're just about ready to get started in the second heat of the men's K1 200. About 3 minutes to go. Athletes are just taking their lanes now as they're making their way to the start line. So in lane 2, 15th in the K1 500, the Under-23 World Championship races for the Oklahoma Canoe Club from the United States, Augustus Cook.
2 minutes to the start, gentlemen. 2 minutes.
In lane 3, the 26-year-old first World Championships appearance, semi-finalist in Poznan earlier this year for Australia, Lachlan Armstrong. In lane 4, the 2020 Olympian in K4 500 and K1 200, 4th place in Tokyo and setting the Olympic record. He's a world champion in mixed K2 200 last year at the World Championship from Hungary, Kolos Chismadia. In lane 5, bronze at the 2021 Global Olympic qualifier and 9th at the Worlds last year from Portugal, Kevin Santos. In lane 6, 23-year-old racing internationally since 2015, semi-finalist in this event last year and B finalist at the Under-23 World Championship from Israel, Stav Mizrahi. In lane 7, competed in all 3 distances in K1 at the 2019 World Championships from Pakistan, Safan Swaleh. And in lane 8, from Trinidad and Tobago, the 26-year-old who represented his country at the last 2 World Championships, reaching the semi in K1 200 last year in Copenhagen, from Trinidad and Tobago, Nicholas Robinson.
7, lane 5, please come to the start line.
So the athletes are just making their way here to the starting line as we're getting ready to get underway in this second heat of the men's K1 200 meters. Again, first we'll advance directly to the A final. Lane 2, the United States. Lane 3, Australia. Lane 4, Hungary. Lane 5, Portugal. Lane 6, Israel. Lane 7, Pakistan. Lane 8, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the second heat of the men's K1 200, expecting and getting a really strong start heat from Hungary's Kolos Chismadia, but really strong start also from Israel's Stav Mizrahi, staying neck and neck with him, and Portugal's Kevin Santos. So a three-boat race as we're getting underway and entering the last 100 meter of this race. Looks like Hungary is building a slight lead, about half a boat here, but a little bit of a push from Kevin Santos as we're approaching the last 20 meters of the race. It is Hungary's Kolos Chismadia taking a convincing win here, about half a boat over the rest of the field. Not unexpected, taking fourth place last year at the Olympics and having the Olympic record time. So class of the field here in the second heat, and he'll advance to the A final of the K1 200 meters.
It's great to see such strong competition in the heats here. The first is advancing to the A final, so they're really going for it. All the top guys are really pushing each other, even shooting their boat across the line. So it's great to see.
Yeah, Mark, I imagine, are you having any anxiety or any, and how's your body feeling watching these two kind of go back to that place you were in when you were competing?
Yeah, I miss it. It's a thrill. You know, you prepared so long to get to that point, and you put it all on the line for 34, 35 seconds, and you know, it's hard to recreate that. So yeah, definitely, you know, appreciating watching that now and feeling those same feels.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually competed on this lake here, Lake Banook, for years. I'm wondering if there's a memory that really stands out for you from those competitions.
Yeah, back in 2009, I was competing here at Worlds in the K1 200. So that was at that time the K1 had been announced as an Olympic event for the first time, and I was competing in K1 200, and yeah, just to have the big crowd here, people you know in the crowd just right next to you, and just feeling that those cheers right next to you was really special, knowing that they're all people that you know.
Yeah, wow. I imagine, I mean, that must have also been a little bit of extra pressure, I guess?
Yeah, but I don't know, pressure, yeah, just encouragement, I guess. But it felt great, yeah. It's really special to have Worlds here and to experience that as a developing athlete. You know, it's just great to see and to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your thoughts today. It was great to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks so much.
And we're getting the results here from the second heat of its K1 men 200 meters. So confirmation of the win from Hungary's Kolos Chismadia, joining Peter Menning in the A final of the K1 200. We have one more heat coming our way in just a few minutes. So just getting ready to go here in the third heat of the men's K1 at 200 meters. In lane 1, the 2020 Olympian racing K4 500 and K1 200, finishing 14th, and World Cup silver medalist in K2 500, representing the Balmy Beach Canoe Club, Canada's Nick Matviv. In lane 2, competed in all three distances in the 2019 World Championship from Belize, Amando Cruz. In lane 3, the semi-finalist of the 2021 World Championships and 9th at the Under-23 World Championship from the Czech Republic, Martin Sobisek. In lane 4, the Tokyo Olympian in K1 200, finishing 8th, and World Championship bronze medalist from Latvia, Robert Ankmans. In lane 5 has been the K1 200 entry for Georgia since his junior days in 2013, a pure 200-meter specialist in 11th last year at the World Championship from Georgia, Badri Kavelshvili. In lane 6, semi-finalist in last year's World Championships in K1 500 and 200 from Singapore, Brandon Wu. And in lane 9, from Spain, the 2020 Tokyo Olympian winning silver in K4 500 and finishing 5th at K1 200. Silver in K4 500 at 2019 World Championship from Spain, Carlos Arevalo. And we have a start in this third heat of the men's K1 200 meters, expecting a really, really fast race as these athletes are competing for the top spot to advance directly to the A final. Keep your eyes on Nick Matviv in lane 1 from Canada, but also Carlos Arevalo from Spain in lane 9. And really strong race also from lane 5, Georgia's Bajai Kabilashvili. Really pushing the pace here, is trying to come in for the win here in this first heat. But strong performance here from the Spanish athlete, but coming top 4 athletes very, very close to the top spot here. But it does look like Spain's Carlos Arevalo just squeezed in to take the win here in this third heat of the men's K1 200 meters. So he'll advance and join Hungary and Sweden into the A final. So really strong start here by all these athletes as they were getting underway. As Mark talked about a little bit earlier, getting that start nailed is so important as you're able to get the race underway, able to get the nerves out, and just being able to generate a lot of speed and power. But really composed here by all these athletes as they were coming through, especially in the second half, continuing to generate a lot of power. But strong race here by Nick Matviv from Balmy Beach as he's came through the field and really was close to that top spot by the end.
Yeah, as Mark was saying, there's really no time to catch up if you don't have that great start.
Yeah, so it could be just small little margins. So a number of these athletes will kind of take this in, and if they're in the semifinals, we'll kind of regroup and get ready to go again as they'll try to vie for one of those final spots. But very, very good racing here in the early days of the K1 200 meters and the early heats. We'll just go through the slow motion here, but it does look like Nick Matviv managed to come in second place here, overtaking lane 4 and 5. So great showing by him here. He'll be one of the ones to watch in the semifinals. And getting confirmation of the results here, Carlos Arevalo, 36 seconds flat, moving on to the A final. And the rest of the athletes will advance to the semifinals to be contested a little bit later this week. But great showing here by Nicholas Matviv, taking second place in the third heat of the men's K1 200 meters.
Yeah, great to see that close competition in the heats there. Next up, we have our first Paracanoe events of the day, a series of disciplines that do have deep roots here on Lake Banook. Paracanoeing emerged as a demonstration sport for the first time right here in Dartmouth back in 2009. That, of course, is the year that we most recently hosted the ICF World Championships. The success of that event helped propel paracanoeing towards its Olympic debut. That happened in Rio 7 years later. So as we ready for Heat 1 of the KL1 Women's 200-meter event, Canoe 22 would like to thank Canoe-Kayak Canada for their commitment to growing the sport in all of its disciplines and their partnership in hosting this incredible event.
So we'll have about 6 minutes to the start here of this KL1 Women 200 meters. We'll have 2 heats in this event, so top 3 advancing directly to the A final, 4th to 7th, and 1 best time to the semifinal. And you might start recognizing some names as athletes are doubling up from the VL categories or some of the other events that we would have seen in yesterday. So exciting to have some athletes winning medals and then coming back for a second event here in some of the para racing.
Yeah, and PL, I have to wonder how some of them managed to keep their strength up, because these are a lot of intense races in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, athletes do train for this, and they're ready for championships that will have multi-events. One of the biggest challenge in here is the KL and the VL. They're quite different boats, right? So you need to spend time in those two boats on the water to get comfortable, develop world-class level, and all of that. So it does vary some of the training. The VL is much more a one-sided boat, more like akin to a canoe, right? And then the KL is more akin to the kayak. So developing like boat-specific muscles and all of that. But great to see some athletes doubling up, and we've had some world champion in both and things like that. So certainly an opportunity here to kind of diversify the skill set and then kind of go on the water. It does require separate classification for each of those events and everything, so there are pathway for all of those athletes to compete either in the KL or the VL here at these World Championships.
This morning we've already seen both canoes and kayaks on the water, and obviously, I think anyone watching can tell the difference between the boats, of course. But I wonder if we can talk a little bit about the difference in the steering between canoes and kayaks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, kayaks have a rudder, and athletes are able to steer with their feet. So if you've ever been in one of those, that might be kind of familiar. For canoes, there's no steering at all. It's all done by the athlete on the paddle. So it's a little bit of a different challenge. So certainly the wind affecting canoes a little bit more than kayaks, and then today seems to be quite fair for now, a bit of a headwind. But if we had really windy conditions, especially from the side, that could influence the amount of steering some athletes would have to do, and that's just energy wasted controlling the boat versus trying to go forward. So certainly the wind does affect canoes and kayaks. Lanes can be advantaged and all that by the conditions, but that's just part of being an outdoor sport, and that's something that the athletes just know that they have to deal with. And it's really something they can't control, so something that they kind of have to put out of your mind and just deliver the best results you can for the weather that you have in front of you.
So this nice calm weather is really a gift then. It's one less thing for them to think about as they're out there racing today.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think the wind is picking up slightly from when we started the day this morning, but we're expecting light wind conditions throughout the day, some fair racing between the lanes. I think athletes will take strong winds from the front or strong wind from the back, as long as it's not kind of crosswindy, because then that could advantage a lane over the other. So right now, Lake Banook seems to be delivering some great racing conditions in the first 2 days of these championships, and we'll hope that it continues throughout the week.
Yes, fingers crossed for that.
So we're about 3 minutes away here for this first heat of the women's KL1 200 meters. We'll have a number of athletes vying for a spot directly to the A final. So top three will advance directly, and then the rest of the athletes will move on to the semifinals. And as a reminder, in this event, the world champion Marina Mazula from the Ukraine and the Paralympic champion Adina Mueller. Great to see those athletes, but fast times, and we'll see Adina Mueller in the second heat of this race. And the world champion is in this first heat as we're going through, so great to see those two fastest in the world lining up in this event here in Dartmouth. So in lane 2, we have the 36-year-old 2019 semifinalist in this event who took silver yesterday in the VL1 women's 200 meter, winning India's first Paracanoe World Championship medal from India, Pooja Ojha. In lane 3, we have the Rio 2016 Paralympic champion in this event, one of the most successful athletes in this field, and Rio gold medalist in KL1, as mentioned. She's the multiple world champion and world medalist in KL1 and VL2 from Great Britain, Janet Chippington. In lane 4, the 2020 Tokyo Paralympian, 8th in KL1, 4th in Copenhagen last year, and silver at the 2018 World Championships from Italy, Eleonora Paolis. In lane 5, the Paralympic silver medalist in 2021, 2019, and 2018 World Champion, silver in Poznan last year from the Ukraine, Marina Mazula. And in lane 6, the 17-year-old, 6th in KL1 at the latest World Championship, moved to KL2 this year and came 6th in Poznan earlier this year from Germany, Joanna Fluenger. So again, in lane 2, India, lane 3, Great Britain, lane 4, Italy, lane 5, Ukraine, lane 6, Germany. Top 3 advancing directly to the A final.
Hold your positions. Ready, set.
And we have a start for the first heat of the women's KL1 200 meters. Strong start here by middle lanes, lane 5 Ukraine's Marina Mazula, and as well as Italy, Eleonora Paolis and Joanna Flugner from Germany. But really high rate here, driving through the first half of this race. Ukraine's Marina Mazula really taking a bit of a lead here as we're approaching the last 100 meters of this 200-meter race. And coming back on the outside, Great Britain's Janet Chippington is making a surge in the second half of this race here, vying for a direct spot to the A final. Coming in and taking the win in this first heat of the women's KL1 200 meters is Marina Mazula from the Ukraine, moving directly to the A final and will be vying for a world championship title later this week.
Oh, we've got some Ukrainian fans here cheering her on as well.
Yeah, congratulations to the Ukrainian athletes and the entire Ukrainian community here cheering their athletes as they're competing on the Lake Banook. And great start from lane 4. Italy's Eleonora Paolis really taking an early lead as she was going through. So we'll wait for confirmation of those results to confirm who's moving on directly to the A final, but clear win here from the Ukraine, Marina Mazula. Looked like in second place, Italy, Eleonora Paolis, and then in third place, Great Britain's Janet Chippington. So Germany and India will move on to the semifinals and will vie for a spot in the A final later this week. But great showing by all these athletes here in the women's KL1 200 first heat.
And we do have one more heat to go in the women's KL1. The top 3 finishers again will capture a spot in the final. Huge thank you ahead of this next race to our bronze sponsors, East Coast Credit Union and Bell Media. Pierre, over to you.
Thanks, Priya. So yeah, exciting race here in this second race. We'll have a number of medalists and world championships or Olympic medalists in this race. So it should be quite an exciting one as women are starting to vie for the world title. So in lane 3, the 2021 World Championships 8th place finisher in 2019 from Hungary, Erika Pulai. In lane 4, the Tokyo Paralympic and World Championship bronze medalist in 2021, also bronze medalist in 2019 and 2017, and 4th at the Rio Paralympics from Chile, Catherine Wollerman. In lane 5, the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic champion and Rio silver medalist. She's a World Championship silver medalist last year and as well as 2019 and 2015, and a World Champion in 2016, Germany's Edina Müller. In lane 6, the World Championship 7th place finisher from Brazil, Adriana Azevedo. And in lane 7, our Canadian representative bursting on the international scene when in 8th place in Tokyo 2020, bronze in Poznan earlier this year. Brianna also competed in wheelchair rugby and is a proud member of the Ottawa River Canoe Club, Canada's Brianna Hennessy.
Please come to the start line. All boats to the start line.
So athletes are just making their way to the start line here in the second heat of the women's KL1 200 meters. Top 3 advance directly to the A final. In lane 3, Hungary, lane 4, Chile, lane 5, Germany, lane 6, Brazil, lane 7, Canada.
Lane 3, forward. Hold your positions. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the second heat of the women's KL1 200 meters. Great start from lane 4. Chile's Katrin Wollerman taking an early lead here over the rest of the field, but Germany's Edina Mueller striking back right away and coming back neck and neck after 20 meters. Brianna Hennessy staying in the mix here from Canada. As we're approaching the halfway point, it does look to be a three-boat race between Chile, Germany, and Canada. Entering the last 20 meters of this race, does look like Germany's Edina Mueller is starting to build a little bit of a lead over Chile, but Canada coming back really strong here to secure one of those 3 spots in advance directly to the A final. So strong racing here from Canada's Brianna Hennessy, and she'll be competing for a medal a little bit later this week in the A final.
Great to see that, and as we've been saying, you know, there really is a lot of benefit to getting those direct to final spots. Of course, it means one less race you have to compete in throughout the week ahead of the finals.
Yeah, so strong win here by Edina Mueller, the Paralympic champion from last year. So great to see her in good form. A bit of a slower start. I'm sure she'll think about that a little bit and how she can kind of adjust for the final. But great to see those athletes get off the line and build some speed so fast. I think it's so impressive to see in that 200 how quick they can be, but just still relaxed, trying to not grip the paddle too hard as they're going through to not waste any energy. But yeah, great racing here by these athletes in the women's KL1. Should be a very, very exciting final as we've had some strong athletes in both heats.
Absolutely.
So we'll await confirmation of the official results and bring those times to you when they become available. But again, great shots here of these athletes staying connected all the way through the second half of the race.
Both please come to the starting area in your correct lane. Both please come to the starting area in your lane.
And again, close racing, just a few inches between first and second here. So it should be a really, really tight race here for the medals later this week when we compete for this A final.
Two minutes to the start. It's race number 70.
And we do have confirmation of those results. So Edina Mueller actually taking the win here, just under 56 seconds in this headwind, and followed by Chile and Canada, and those 3 boats will be advancing directly to the A final.
Canoe 22 would like to thank our supporting sponsors, Pattison, McInnes Cooper, Cluid Insurance, Royal Bank of Canada, Immediacy, Glow the Event Store, and Docks Unlimited. We are now moving on to the VL2 men's heats. The V here stands for Va, a traditional Polynesian vessel that's been adapted for sprint racing. And the top 3 finishers here again in each of the next 2 heats will head directly to the final.
Thanks, Bria. This should be another exciting race. Lots of athletes here. We have the top of the field here on the water. So great to see all these athletes. So we have in lane 2 the 2021 and 2018 World Championship semi-finalists from Japan, Takanori Kato. In lane 3, the Rio semi-finalist in this event and 2018 World Champion from Brazil, Igor Tofalini. In lane 4, coming from a long-distance paddling background in 2021 Paralympic 5th place finisher and 5th at the 2021 World Championships, winner in Poznan earlier this year, representing the Club de Canotage de Shawinigan, Mathieu Saint-Pierre from Canada. In lane 5, the Paralympic 6th place finisher and World Championship silver medalist, 2nd in Poznan earlier this year from Spain, Higinio Rivero. In lane 6, 6th at the 2021 World Championships, bronze in Poznan earlier this year from Ukraine, Andriy Krivchun. And in lane 7, the 2021 Paralympic silver medalist who represented the USA at the 2016 Paralympics in para-rowing coming fourth, Stephen Haxton.
Forward, please. Thank you, gentlemen. Ready, set.
And we have a start in this first heat of the men's VL2 200 meters. Expect a really fast start, some very, very high stroke rates here. These athletes are building up a lot of speed in this first 100 and trying to carry this through into the second half. So about 50 meters in, it does look to be a 4 or 5 boat race. Very, very close, but it does look like Brazil has taken an early lead at that green boat, really keeping that stroke really high. You can see a lot of power and all the muscle it takes to move this boat. Entering the last 100 meters, it is a bit of a lead for Brazil, but again, the top 3 advancing directly to the A finals. A lot to fight here for second and third. Very close racing here between a few of the athletes vying for that third spot. So 3 boats in contention as we're approaching the last 50 meters. It's a race between the United States, Spain, and Canada for that third place, but it does look like the US and Spain will be coming in second and third, and Canada coming in a close fourth. We'll have to go to the semifinals to advance to the A final later this week, but a clear win by Igor Toffolini from Brazil, taking this first heat of the VL2 200 meters. Again, great starts, wire to wire for Brazil here, able to generate so much speed so quickly in the first 20 meters.
Yeah, these close-ups really give you an idea of just how much power is going into each stroke and how far ahead Brazil was really right from the start here.
Yeah, and Brazil's had a very strong Paracanoe program over the last few years. Obviously, with Paracanoe being introduced in Rio, there was a bit of a hometown incentive to be so good in it and everything. So it's generating a lot of buzz around the para group out there in Brazil, and we've had some great results coming from South America as well. So great to see Paracanoe becoming so global so quickly, and then athletes getting the opportunity to now compete at the Paralympics and win some medals on the world stage, because they are world-class athletes. So great to have them on the water today, and especially as part of the event, as an integrated event here at Canoe 22, not separated and all that. We're all paddlers, and it's great to have everyone who paddles vie for world championships titles together.
Absolutely. And we do have one more VL2 heat, and just as we await the final results here, we would like to thank our community sponsors for their support: Downtown Dartmouth, Develop Nova Scotia, and Halifax Water.
So yeah, confirmation of the results here, a 3-second win by Igor Toffolini from Brazil, moving on directly to the A final. Will be joined by USA Stephen Haxton and Eugenio Rivero from Spain. The other boats will have to move to the semifinal to vie for those top 3 spots in that race and advance to the A final later. And we're just a few minutes away, about 2 minutes away from the second heat of the VL2 men's 200 meters. 6 athletes again competing in this race. Top 3 will advance directly to the A final. In lane 2, we have the 10th position finish of the 2021 World Championships and 11th in 2019. Achieved his standard in June, putting him on this team, getting added to the team from Great Britain, Stuart Clark. In lane 3, the 2021 9th place finisher of the World Championships and 2018 World Championship bronze medalist from Italy, Mariusz Chiestia.
1 minute to the start.
In lane 4, the Paralympic bronze medalist and 2021 World Championships bronze medalist, 2019 silver medalist at the World Championships from Portugal, Norberto Murillo. In lane 5, the 2021 Paralympic champion and defending world champion, also from Brazil, Fernando Paulo. In lane 6, silver medalist from Rio 2016 Paralympic Games in KL, veteran of the Paracanoe international scene with multiple medals at World Cups and World Championships, 6th in Poznan earlier this year from Hungary, Robert Suba. And in lane 7, 2 times Paralympian in Nordic skiing, father of 4 and representing the Club de Canotage de Shawinigan from Canada, Yves Book.
Hold your positions, please, gentlemen. Hold your positions, please. Hold your positions, please. Lane 3, Thank you, gentlemen. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the second heat of the men's VL2 200 meters. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the final, but really strong start here from Brazil, as we saw in the first heat. High rage, taking a bit of a lead right away. And again, he is the Paralympic champion and defending world champion in this event, so very impressive start here in the first half of this race as he's approaching the second 100. But really competitive race here for second and third again as we are going through. Again, the top 3 will be advancing directly to the A final, so lots to play for here in the second 100 meter of this 200 meter race. Such a strong rate as we're coming through the last 20 meters here of this race. Brazil commanding lead over the rest of the field, followed by Portugal and Hungary as we're coming in, but really close race here for third as we are heading into the end of this second heat of the K1 of the VL2 200. But yes, strong celebration from Brazil here, commanding win, and Brazil taking first place in each of the heats so far. So they should have a great race between the two of them in the A final later this week. But again, right from the get-go, a lot of power. First set of buoy already taking the lead. So great to see there from Fernando Paulo de Rufino. It does look like second place may have been Portugal's Norberto Murao, and then third place Hungary's Robert Suba, but we'll wait for the final results to get confirmation of who will be advancing to the A final. But great shots here from the Brazilian as he's closing his race here. Lots of power all through the race, and then able to generate such a lot of speed in this really heavy boat in the VL2.
Nice celebration there at the end. As you say, setting us up for a very exciting final. There we go. There's the cheer at the end.
Yeah, and we've had some great support from the Brazilian community yesterday, so certainly looking forward to having a lot of cheering here supporting the Brazilian athletes. So confirmation of those results. Brazil taking the win here. Fernando Rufino, a win yesterday, a win earlier in the other heat in Brazil as well. So 2 Brazilian athletes moving on, and Portugal and Hungary also advancing to the A final. So great to see 6 athletes moving on to the A final, and we'll have a semi-final for the remaining 3 places to see who will join.
And 2 Canadians competing in that semi-final, so we'll certainly be watching them. Up next, we have a pair of heats in women's KL2. We are also about 1 hour away from the opening of our food vendors, licensed beverage area, marketplace, and kids zone. That is on Prince Albert Road. Something for everyone there, including cold beverages from our partners, 9 Locks, Lake City Cider, and Cold Stream. Over to you for the athlete intros for the KL2 women's 200 meter first heat, PL.
Thanks, Priya. So yeah, exciting race again here. Lots of medalists from the Paralympics and the World Championships. Really star-studded field. So in lane 2, the Rio 2016 bronze medalist in KL2 and Tokyo 2020 silver medalist. 2015 and 2017 world champion from Austria, Susan Schiebel. In lane 4, 4th in this event in the Tokyo Paralympics and at the 2021 World Championships, and winner of the 2021 Paralympic qualifier, gold in Poznan earlier this year, so in really good form, Germany's Anja Adler. In lane 5, Tokyo Paralympics and 2021 World Championship bronze medalist, 5th in Rio in this event from Hungary, Katalin Varga. In lane 6, 12th at the Tokyo Paralympic Games and 7th at the latest World Championship from Spain, Ines Felipe. And in lane 7, 6th at the 2021 World Championships, bronze medalist at the VL3 at the 2020 World Cup in Hungary, and we saw her race yesterday, Israel Talia Elad. we have a start here in this first heat of the women's KL2 200 meters. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the final, so really, really fast start from lane 2, 4, and 5 as we are getting underway here in this first heat. So it seems to be a race between Australia, Germany, and Hungary, and taking the early leads as they're approaching the halfway point. Hungary seems to be pulling ahead just a little bit. The Tokyo Paralympics and 2021 World Championships bronze medalist, showing why she's one of the top athletes in the world in this event. And then Germany, Anja Adler, just making a move on Australia, Susan Chipo here, to lock in this second position early into the race. But making a charge now on Hungary is Germany's Anja Adler, as we're closing this first heat of the women's KL2 200 meters. And winner of this first heat of the KL2 Women's 200 is Katalin Varga from Hungary. Great racing from her, taking the lead right away from the start line, all the way wire to wire. So great racing here. And a great shot of the 4th place finisher last year at the World Championships here, Anja Adler from Germany, as she came in here for a 2nd place finish in this first heat.
We do have one more heat of the women's KL2. Just ahead of that, we'd like to thank the Village Shops at Dartmouth Crossing for their support, providing parking solutions for our volunteers and spectators.
It's a great shot here of the 3 athletes crossing the line. Again, about 3/4 of a boat between the 3 of them. We'll expect a number of the athletes in the 2nd heat to be in the mix there, so great to see 5 or 6 boats that could be in contentions for medal in this event. So confirmation of the results here. Hungary's Katalin Varga taking the win in a 55.09. Germany's Anja Adler and Susan Chipo from Australia will also be moving on to the A final, with Israel and Spain moving on to the semi-final as they try to vie for a spot in the A final later. And we're about 2 minutes away from the 2nd heat of the women's KL2 200 meters. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the final here in this field of 5 athletes. In lane 3, we have the Tokyo 5th place finisher and Rio silver medalist, 6-time A final finisher at the World Championship, and 4-time world medalist in VL from Ukraine, Natalia Lahutenko. In lane 4, Tokyo Paralympic champion and defending world champion, she's also the defending world champion in VL3, the Paralympic silver and bronze medalist in swimming from Great Britain, Charlotte Henshaw. In lane 5, the 2021 Paralympic and 2021 World Championship silver medalist has been a force in the VL2 and KL2 event for a number of years, gold medalist in Rio and KL2, and represented Great Britain in sitting volleyball at the 2012 Paralympics in London from Great Britain, Emma Higgs. In lane 6, the 30-year-old 8th in Copenhagen at the World Championship last year from Japan, Shiho Miyajima. And in lane 7, the 18-year-old in her first World Championships appearance from Egypt, Salwa Ahmed. Once again, lane 3, Ukraine, lane 4, Great Britain, lane 5, Great Britain, lane 6, Japan, lane 7, Egypt, as we're getting ready to go here in the 2nd heat of the women's KL2 200 meters.
Lane 3, 4, ready, set,
And we have a start in the second heat of the women's KL2 200 meters. Fast start from the true Great Britain athletes here. Those two are very used to competing against each other, and they're both top of the field in this event, finished first and second last year at the Paralympics and World Championships. So certainly a lot on the line for those two athletes, and some bragging rights between the two Great Britain athletes here as they're approaching the last 100 meter of this race. Very close between Charlotte Henshaw and Emma Wiggs here in this second heat of the women's KL2 200 meters. And coming in the last 20 meters, does look like a small lead from Charlotte Henshaw over Emma Wiggs, but closing the gap really quickly as we're approaching the last few meters. Does look like about a quarter of a boat as we're lining through the end of this second heat. And then coming in third place is Ukraine's Natalia Lahutenko, also taking a spot directly into the A final. But very great race here where Charlotte Henshaw taking the win here in the second heat of the women's KL2 200 and advancing directly to the A final. And just crossing the line, as we saw, just Shiho Miyajima and Sawa Ahmed from Japan and Egypt respectively as well. Again, newcomers onto the Paralympic, the para scene here. So great to see them progress and see their progression over the next few years as they're getting ready for the Paris cycle towards the Paralympics. Again, Great Britain has had such a strong program in the para sports since the London Olympics and even before, but certainly had a surge as the London Paralympics were held on home soil, and since then have been continuing to progress that, and that's where it's no surprise that the para-canoe program from Great Britain has continued to develop and produce some amazing athletes over the last few years. And we'll just get confirmation of those results here, advancing to the A final in just a minute. But great racing here from Charlotte Henshaw taking the win, followed by Emma Wiggs and Natalia Lahutenko, and the three of them advancing to the A final, and Shiho Miyajima and Sawa Ahmed will move on to the semi-final against those other two athletes from the first heat to decide who will be moving on to the A final.
Our next event here is the men's VL3. And for those of you who are here watching the races in person, as you're planning your day, we wanted to give you a heads up about our first up with RBC X Music. Performances on the main stage. Today's performance is at 2 p.m. You will hear Dartmouth singer-songwriter Eric Stevenson Martin perform. RBC X Music provides a platform for emerging Canadian artists to showcase their music, share their stories, and reach new fans. So again, there will be a performance at 2 p.m.
And we're just about to get underway here in the VL3 200 meters. So again, there will be 3 heats of this race. First the final, and then second to 7th to semi-final. In lane 1, the 27-year-old semi-finalist of the 2019 World Championships and B finalist in 2018 from New Zealand, Peter Cohen. In lane 2, the World Championships B finalist and 8th in Poznan earlier this year from Argentina, Nicolas Crosta. In lane 3, returning to the World Championships for the first time since 2014 and a 2014 World Cup medalist, silver in 2018 on this lake at the Pan Am Championships, representing Masqua, Canada's David Waters. In lane 4, the B finalist of the 2021 World Championships who competed in Rio in KL2 and is a silver world medalist in 2015 in KL2 from Spain, Javier Reja.
1 minute to start. Please.
In lane 5, the 2021 world champion and silver medalist of the 2021 Paralympic qualifier, bronze at the 2019 World Championships from Great Britain, Jack Ayers. In lane 6, the World Championships B finalist and bronze in Poznan at the World Cup earlier this year from France, Abel Aber. In lane 7, the Tokyo Paralympian in VL3 taking fourth at the 2019 World Championships and 7th in 2017. He's a World Cup gold medal winner in Zagreb in 2018 from Uzbekistan, Ketmurat Sherkuziev. And in lane 8, newcomer on the world stage from Uruguay, Grotius Adan.
Hold your positions. Ready, set.
we have a start in this first heat of the men's VL3 200 meters, winner advancing directly to the A final. Extremely fast start here from some of the middle lanes here as we are just getting underway, as well as lane 1 from New Zealand, blouncing to the start, but such a high rate here from the middle from one of these athletes here from Great Britain, Jack Ayers, just highest rate out there in the field, just able to drive his boat forward. You can see that power reacting, boat bouncing a little bit, but seems to be gaining a little bit of an edge over bit of a slower rate and a lot of power, as you can see from Uzbekistan's athlete, Katmurat Cherkuziev, as we enter the last 50 meters of this race here in the VL3 men's 200 meter race. But great win here by about half a boat by the world champion from 2021, Great Britain's Jack Ayers, and really, really close racing here for the rest of the field. Dave Waters coming in here just across the line here for Canada, closing the field here in this race. And then Uruguay's newcomer Grotius Adan on the world stage, just finishing here his race into the VL3 200 meters. So great to see such a global participation in this first heat of the VL3. Again, about 50 meters in, such a tight field here between Great Britain, Uzbekistan, and New Zealand. But really that rate and that power just staying so forward, as you can see comparison between Uzbekistan and Great Britain here. Two different paddling style.
Yeah. You can see certainly like the shorter strokes versus the longer strokes here.
Yeah, and certainly what works for you is kind of the name of the game in paddling, and there's some tenets of how to paddle well, but certainly it's what you're able to do to make the boat move fast. So great to see Jack Ayers here put in a strong performance as he begins this quest for another gold medal at the World Championships.
We do have 2 more heats of the men's VL3 event, and again, the winner of each gets a direct entry into the final, and then finishers 2 through 7 still have a chance to get to that final. They will go to the semi-final and compete for those last spots in the final.
In confirmation of those results here, Jack Ayers taking the win and advancing directly to the A final in a 49.66, and then the rest of the athletes 2nd to 7 moving on to the semi-final. Grotius Adan from Uruguay, this athlete will be eliminated from the VL3 for this weekend. Moving on to the second heat of the VL3 men's 200 meters, 7 athletes here competing for that top spot to move directly to the A final. In lane 2, the 25-year-old semi-finalist at the latest World Championships from Poland, Robert Widera. In lane 3, the 34-year-old who competed at the 2021 World Cup in Szeged in Hungary from Uruguay, Jorge Obispo. In lane 4, the Tokyo Paralympian finishing 11th and 9th at the 2021 World Championships, gold medalist at the 2021 Paralympic qualifier and bronze at the 2019 World Championship from Spain, Adrian Mosquera. In lane 5, the 2021 World Championships bronze medalist and 7th in 2019, winner in Poznan at the World Cup earlier this year, from the Ukraine, Vladislav Yepifanov. In lane 6, the World Championships B finalist, 5th in Poznan at the World Cup in Poland, from Italy, Mirko Nicoli. In lane 7, the 28-year-old 2021 and 2019 World Championships B finalist from Chile, Arturo Edwards. And in lane 8, the Paralympic 11th place finisher and 9th place at the 2021 Paracanoe World Cup from Japan, Hiromi Tatsumi. So once again, lane 2, Poland, lane 3, Uruguay, lane 4, Spain, lane 5, Ukraine, lane 6, Italy, lane 7, Chile, lane 8, Japan, as we get ready to get underway in the second heat of the VL3 men's 200 meters, first directly to the A final.
Ready, set.
And we have a start in the second heat of the men's VL3 200 meters. Great start here from Spain in the middle lanes, as well as Ukraine taking a bit of an early lead, but so close to call in the first 50 meters. Again, first moving directly to the A final, but Ukraine taking a little bit of a lead over Spain and Italy here. Poland in lane 2 as well, staying in the mix early on as we're approaching the 100-meter mark. It does look like the Ukraine and Italy are vying for that top spot, but strong in such a fast rate here from Italy's Marco Nicoli as well. Mounting a challenge here as we're approaching the last 50 meters. Arturo Edwards as well from Chile, just continuing to vie for one of that spot, switching side as he's trying to create a bit of a challenge here to take one of those top spots here in this race. But great win here by Ukraine. Vladislav Yepifanov taking first spot and advancing directly to the A final.
Oh, exciting finish there, and you can see the Ukrainian fans cheering them on too.
Yeah, and confirmation of that winner here, Vladislav Yepifanov, winner of that second heat in the men's VL2 200 meters. And really great start right from the get-go. You can see that rate just increasing really quickly. And just really in control, short strokes to get the boat off the water. I think some of the replays are from the first heat here in the VL2 that we're looking at, so comparison with the Great Britain athlete that we had a chance to look at. But
And certainly we know our Ukrainian athletes have been through a lot this year, so very happy to have them here competing.
yeah, and they've been on the lake here, arrived a bit early, about 10 or 15 days ago. So we've had a chance with the organizing committee and everything to kind of interact with the athletes as they manage to train on Lake Banook, on Lake Micmac around the site, and enjoy the city here in Halifax and Dartmouth. But yes, here confirmation of Ukraine's win, Vladislav Yepifanov in just under 50 seconds, so comparable to the Great Britain time. Will move on directly to the A final, and the rest of the athletes moving on to the semifinal.
So we are about to wrap up our VL3 men's heats next, and as we look deeper into the draw, that's followed by a pair of KL3 women's heats before moving to heats in women and men's C1. And we would like to thank our sponsors, Sport Canada, the province of Nova Scotia, and the Halifax Regional Municipality for making this event happen.
Donc, nous voulons prendre un moment pour remercier nos commanditaires, dont Sport Canada, la province de la Nouvelle-Écosse et la municipalité régionale d'Halifax. We're about 2 minutes away here from this third heat, and in lane 2, the 44-year B finalist of the World Championships in 2019 and 2018 from the United States, Jamie Parks. In lane 3, the bronze medalist in 2017 and 9th in 2019 from Great Britain, Martin Tweedy. In lane 4, the Tokyo 2020 Paralympian in KL2 taking 10th place and 7th at the 2021 World Championship from Argentina, Emilio Atamanu. In lane 5, the Tokyo Paralympic silver medalist and World Championships 4th place finisher, 5th at the 2021 Paralympic qualifier from Brazil, Giovanni Paula. In lane 6, the 48-year-old Tokyo Paralympic B finalist and World Championship semi-finalist from Japan, Koichi Imai. In lane 7, the Tokyo Paralympian who came 5th in VL3 and 9th in KL3, 6th in Rio in KL3, and 5th at the 2019 World Championship from Ireland, Patrick O'Leary. And in lane 8, the 32-year-old who in his first World Championship appearance for India, Jay Deep. So lane 2, United States, lane 3, Great Britain, lane 4, Argentina, lane 5, Brazil, lane 6, Japan, lane 7, Ireland, lane 8, India, here vying for the first place that will advance directly to the A final.
Hold your positions. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the third heat of the men's VL3 200 meters. Strong start from the Brazilian athlete Giovanni Paula, silver medalist last year at the Tokyo Paralympic, as well as Argentina Emilio Atamano, another veteran of the VL3 program here. But close racing here, about 4 or 5 athletes in contention as we're approaching the 100-meter mark of this 200-meter race. Great push by Martin Tweedy and Emilio Atamano here, challenging Giovanni Paula for Brazil in for this top spot. And similarly, Patrick O'Leary mounting a charge here as he's coming in close. But it does look to be a little bit of a two-boat race now as we're heading in the last 50 meters between Argentina's Emilio Atamano and Brazil Giovanni Paula, as we are rounding out the last few meters of this race. Again, winner goes directly to the A final. And it does look like Argentina will have overtaken Brazil by just a few inches, taking that win here in this third heat of the VL3 men's 200 meters.
Canada, then 3 Uzbekistan, then 4 Germany, then 5 Great Britain, then 6 Brazil, then 7 Australia, then 8 United States.
So great start here by Brazil, taking an early lead. Argentina staying close and really managing a very strong second half here to overtake the Brazilian. Coming back from about a quarter or half a boat in about 100 meters and moving through the field here to take the win in this race. Solid racing as well from Great Britain and Ireland here. Some strong racers here in the VL3 200 meters.
KR3 women 200 meters, heat number 1. For both, please come to the starting area in your lane. For both, please come to the starting area in your correct lane. Lane 1, Nigeria. Lane 2, Canada.
And again, such a close finish here between these two athletes. So Argentina just edging out Brazil, and then Great Britain taking third place just in front of Ireland here in this third heat of the VL3 men's 200 meters.
And certainly setting us up for an exciting final. I think we'll have 3 Brazilian athletes in that final.
Yeah, it should be quite an exciting race. I mean, we've had a chance to see Brazil kind of shine in this event and in the previous event, the men's VL2 as well. So certainly the VL program in good hands as we are seeing Brazil kind of contend in a number of those. But yeah, confirmation here of Argentina's Emilio Atamano at 51.89, moving on directly to the A final. And Giovanni Paula from Brazil will have to the semifinal to earn his spot into the A final.
You know, bringing the best in the world together for an event like this takes a lot of dedicated volunteers, more than 600 to be exact, and that equals more than 80,000 volunteer hours that went into the making of this event. So please extend a huge thanks to our volunteers as you see them on site. A lot of them are wearing blue t-shirts. Thank them when you can. And we, of course, would like to thank them as well, along with Support for Sport, who is a proud sponsor of our volunteers.
And just about to get underway here in the first of 2 heats in the KL3 women's 200 meters. So first 3 will advance directly to the A final, 4th to 7th, and 8th best time to the semifinal. In lane 1, we have the 19-year-old who competed at the 2019 World Championships for Nigeria, Ayomide Ainmore. In lane 2, the Rio 2016 Paralympian taken 7th place at the time, 5th in Poznan earlier this year, from the Mississauga Canoe Club Canada, Erica Scarf. In lane 3, the Tokyo 2020 6th place finisher and 2019 world champion and 2017 silver medalist from Uzbekistan, Shakozna Mirzaeva. In lane 4, the Tokyo Paralympic bronze medalist and 4th at the 2021 World Championship, silver in Poznan earlier this year, Germany's Felicia Leberer. In lane 5, the Tokyo Paralympic champion and defending world champion, Great Britain's Laura Sugar. In lane 6, double Paralympian and 8th place in Tokyo, 6th of the 21 World Championships from Brazil, Mari Santilli. In lane 7, the 36-year-old making her first appearance at the World Championships and 8th earlier this year in Poznan, Australia, Kathleen O'Kelly Kennedy. And in lane 8, the 39-year-old semi-finalist of the 2018 World Championships from the United States, Jillian Elwer. And we have a start in this first heat of the women's KL3 200 meters. Once again, top 3 advancing directly to the final. Strong start for some of the middle lanes here Felicia Laborer and Laura Sugar moving on right away in contention for some of those 3 places, as well as Uzbekistan, Chakosna, Mirzaeva. But again, approaching the halfway point, we know in those 200 that started so important, but people can make a bit of a move in the second half if you spend too much energy. So great racing so far. It does look like Great Britain. Laura Sugar is taking a slight lead here as we're moving on into the later stages. About 50 meters to go here in this 200 meters women's KL3 first heat. Close race here for some of the middle places as we are closing out this first heat of the women's KL3. But clear winner Laura Sugar from Team GB, first place in the KL3 200 meters in the first heat, and she'll be moving on to the A final.
Bit less than 4 minutes to the start of race number 78. KL3 women's 200 meters, heat number 2. Lane 2 USA, lane 3 Italy, lane 4 France, lane 5 Great Britain, lane 6 Hungary, lane 7 Nigeria, lane 8 Japan.
And great shot of the Tokyo Paralympic bronze medalist here, Felicia Laborer, coming in second in this race and advancing as well to the A final directly.
We've been talking about the depth of the para program in Great Britain, and certainly Laura Sugar's performance here, just another testament to that.
Yeah, Laura's actually also a Rio Paralympian in track and field, finishing 5th in the T44 100 and 200 meters. So a multi-sport Paralympian, very, very impressive to make the transition to paddling. So great to have her on our waters now competing and showing great form in the early stages of this World Championships.
Absolutely.
KL3 women 200 meters, heat number 2. The paddler, please come to the starting area in your lane.
Great racing here from Great Britain, Germany, and it looks like Uzbekistan coming in 3rd place as well. The Tokyo 2020 6th place finisher, Shakosna Mirzaeva, moving on directly to the A final as well.
Hungary, lane 7 Nigeria, lane 8 Japan.
And we do have confirmation of those results. I think those times might be a little off, given the race was at 200, so those will be corrected in the official results. But nonetheless, the order is correct. Great Britain, Laura Sugar taking the win, and Germany's Felicia Laborer, and Uzbekistan, Shaknoza Mirzaeva moving on to the A final directly.
And as we head into Heat 2 of the KL3 women's event, we do want to thank the Atlantic Division of the Canoe-Kayak Canada and their member clubs for all of their wonderful support as we prepared the venue and the race course here on Lake Banook for these 2022 World Championships.
Yeah, about 2 minutes away here from the second heat of the women's KL3 200 meters. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the A final, 4th to 7th, and 1 time to the semi-final. The athletes are just making their way down. They're approaching the 250 here as the gates are just getting reset at the 200. But in lane 2, the 33-year-old in her first World Championship appearance from the United States, Melissa DeShellis. In lane 3, 8th at the 2021 World Championships and bronze in Poznan at the World Cup earlier this year from Italy, Amanda Ambrosio. In lane 4, the Tokyo Paralympic silver medalist and World Championships bronze medalist, winner in Poznan earlier this year from France, Nydia Barbosa. In lane 5, the World Championship silver medalist and 5th in 2019, also a 2022 Beijing Paralympian in Nordic skiing from Great Britain, Hope Gordon. In lane 6, 7th at the 2021 World Championships, 2nd at the 2020 Szeged World Cup, and 6th in Poznan earlier this year from Hungary, Nicoletta Molnar. In lane 7, the 21-year-old who's a 2021 World semi-finalist and 14th in 2019 from Nigeria, Bosede Omoboni. And in lane 9, the 2020 Tokyo Paralympian and 2021 World semi-finalist, 17th in 2019 from Japan, Yoshimi Kachi. So once again, top 3 advancing directly to the final. Lane 2, United States. Lane 3, Italy. Lane 4, France. Lane 5, Great Britain. Lane 6, Hungary. Lane 7, Nigeria. And in lane 9, Japan. Or lane 8, Japan.
Lane 8 forward, please. Thank you, ladies. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the second heat of the women's KL3 200 meters. Strong start from France. Nelia Barbosa right off the bat coming on and very, very quickly. But staying with her is Hope Gordon from Great Britain, as well as Italy's Amanda Embriaco, as they're coming in through the first 100 meters here of this 200-meter event. Very strong racing from Japan as well as Hungary, staying in the mix here as we're approaching the last 75 meters of this race. They're just closing in here in the last 50 meters. Very close race here for the win between France and Great Britain as we're approaching the last few strokes, but it does look like France will manage to take this one out. Nelia Barbosa taking the win over Hope Gordon, and Italy coming in third, and Amanda Embriaco. But very close racing here between the top three of them as they're all advancing to the A final. Should be making a very, very competitive and exciting race for us to witness in a few days. But congratulations to Nelia Barbosa. Bravo, Nelia, to taking the win here in this second heat.
You mentioned this earlier, PL, but just the versatility among some of the athletes we've seen in these last few heats is just incredible. Hope Gordon also competing in skiing as well at the Paralympic level, and here we're seeing her on the water.
Yeah, and we've had the chance, actually, met her family who's here on site, surprised her at the airport coming in to cheer her on, so just kind of creating a bit of a buzz around the event. So great to see a team Hoper that I saw earlier this week. So
yeah, oh, that's wonderful. Well, welcome, and so wonderful that they could be here to support her. What a nice surprise.
Yeah, so some great racing here by the athletes. As we've said, a few countries have really invested into their para programs, especially. So Team GV, one of them, Brazil, certainly others, Canada as well, and a number of them are continuing to develop. So great to see some global reach that is continuing to build in the para program as paddling becomes one of the prominent sport and a feature sport of those games. We're just getting confirmation of those results here in just a minute for the second heat of the women's KL3 at 200 meters. So great racing here by those athletes advancing to the A final. The rest of the athletes will be moving on to the semifinal that will take place later this week.
Next at the start line, we will. Oh, there's confirmation there, so you can see we've got France in first place, Great Britain in second, and Italy in third place, going directly to the finals, and then Hungary, Japan, and Nigeria, and the USA going to the semifinals. So we'll look forward to seeing those athletes compete for the remaining spots in the finals as well. Up next, we do have our female canoers in 2 heats of the singles 500-meter event. The top 3 there will earn a direct trip to the final. Short break before then. That race is at 10:55 local time, so about 11 minutes away. We would like to thank our bronze sponsors, East Coast Credit Union and Bell Media.
Great, so athletes are just making their way now to the start line at the 500 meters. So again, should be a very exciting race here. Some names we may recognize from the C1 200 that took place earlier today, as we're ready to go soon in this C1 500. And world champion from last year, Maria Maillard, will be in this field, or has been here this week, so great to see her out there. So in lane 2 from the United States, the 2021 Under-23 B finalist in C1 200 and 2017 Junior B finalist in the 500 from the United States, Andrea Gizilla. In lane 3, the 27-year-old and 2018 and 2019 Senior World Championship semi-finalist in C2 200 from Senegal, Kambe Sek. In lane 4, the 2020 Tokyo Olympian and the 2021 C1 500 World Champion and 5-times world medalist from Chile, Maria Maillard. In lane 5, the 2020 Tokyo Olympian winner of the silver in C2 500 and bronze in C1 200, the triple world championship medalist from last year in Copenhagen from Ukraine, Lyudmila Luzan. And in lane 8, the C2 200 women's final A 4th place position last year, the 2021 World Championships, and the silver medalist from the under-23 C2 in 500 and 200 from Moldova, Maria Olarasu. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the A final. Should be an exciting race here between a number of these world-class women in the canoe events. So lane 2, the United States, lane 3, Senegal, lane 4, Chile, lane 5, Ukraine, and in lane 8, Moldova. And we have a start in the first heat of the C1 women 500 meters, top 3 advancing directly to the A final. Strong start here by Ukraine's Lyudmila Luzan, taking an early lead in this event. Great race so far as we're approaching the halfway point here in this race. A little bit of a headwind here for the athletes as they are contending the 500 meter, but does look to be a bit of a 4-boat race here between the United States, Chile, Ukraine, and Moldova, with Senegal rounding out the field a few meters behind. So coming into the 250 meters, Ukraine in the lead with Moldova in second place out of in lane 8, and then Chile in lane 4. And top 3 advancing directly to the final here, so see some control by some of the more senior and experienced athletes that have won some medals before in this event, but really strong showing here from Moldova in lane 8, kind of paddling on her own on the outside, but high rate as she's entering here the last 100 meters and challenging actually for the lead in this race. So with about 50 meters to go, continues to be a race between Lyudmila Luzan and Maria Olarasu from Moldova for the top spot here in this 500 meter race. Maria Maillard coming in 3rd place at the moment. Great performance and win here by the double Olympic medalist Lyudmila Luzan from the Ukraine, taking the first win in the C1 women 500 meters.
And this contingent of Ukrainian fans just keeps getting bigger over here. They've got lots of flags cheering her on there.
And certainly the women's canoe in the Ukraine have been a powerhouse in the last few years. We saw some great results for them, and Lyudmila is one of the the leaders of that group. So great to see her in great shape here in good form this week.
As we get ready for the second and final heat of the C1 Women's 500 meter event, we would like to thank our supporting sponsors, Pattison, McInnes Cooper, Cluett Insurance, Royal Bank of Canada, Immediacy, Glow the Event Store, and Docs Unlimited.
It's a great performance here by these athletes, with Liudmila Lusan taking the win, Maria Olarasu from Moldova taking second place, and Maria Maillard coming in third from Chile. And those three will be advancing directly to the A final as we get ready to get underway here in the second heat of the women's C1 500 meters. And 5 athletes contesting this race here, so a total of about 10 athletes here, so certainly a close field, could almost have been a direct final as we are going through. So 1 athlete sadly will get eliminated from this field. But in lane 2, we have the Tokyo 2020 Olympian racing C1 200 and C2 500 and 4-time World Championship silver medalist from Hungary, Virag Baya. In lane 3, the 2020 Olympian racing C1 200 earned her spot by winning the global qualifier in Barnaul in Russia, 5th last year at the U23 World Championships, and bronze in the 500 from Croatia, Vanessa Tot. In lane 4, the 2021 under-23 bronze medalist over the 200 and silver medalist over the 500, and junior European bronze medalist in C1 200 from Poland, Katarina Sperkiewicz. In lane 5, the 2020 Olympian, finishing 4th in the C2 500, made the switch from kayaking in 2016. It's worth noting that she's a U23 World Champion in K4 and racing here in C1. Silver in Rachice and Poznan from Germany, Lisa Dian. In lane 6, from Canada, Sophia Jensen, a multiple world champion at junior level and competing now at the senior level and the C1 500. And we have a start in this second heat of the C1 Women 500. Once again, top 3 advancing directly to the final here, and 4th to 6th will be moving to the semifinal. Great start here by Canada's Sophia Jensen, racing this in the place of Katie Vincent that was initially slated to take the start in this event. Again, this great experience here by Sophia. She's a multiple world champion in C1 and then looking to make her mark here at the senior level. She raced last year in the C2 in Copenhagen, but now stretching into the C1 at the world level as well. Seems to be a fairly close race here between Hungary, Germany, Poland, and Canada for those top 3 spots as we are approaching the 250-meter mark. So Germany and Canada close, very close actually. Canada taking a slight edge, and then in 3rd and 4th, Poland and Hungary vying for that 2nd spot. But see that stroke rate increasing for Sophia here a little bit as they're approaching the last 200 meters of this 500-meter race. Seems to be a 2-boat race now at this stage, but Hungary just picked up the rate quite a bit as well, and mounting a bit of a challenge here on the leaders as they're approaching the last 100 meters of this 500-meter race. Again, neck and neck between Canada and Germany here in this race. Sophia just picking up the rate here a little bit, approaching the last 100, and Germany just reacting to that as well. So the two of them going head-to-head here for the win in this second heat of the C1 Women 500 meters.
close one here.
Yeah, and about a nose now between those two athletes as they're approaching. Again, top three moving on to the A final directly. It does look like Canada's Sophia Jensen will be taking the win here, but Germany's Lisa Jan will come in second place, and Vieragbaya from Hungary taking third place here. So Sophia Jensen will be moving on directly to the A final in the C1 Women 500-meter event.
Nice to see them supporting, congratulating each other there too.
Yeah, so great racing there, and great support from the Canadian fans and cheering on Sophia here as she makes her debut here in C1 500. So great to see, and certainly one of the medal contenders given her form here on the water. Again, almost synchronized shots here from the two athletes, Canada and Germany. Sophia slightly higher stroke rate. You can see a little bit of an earlier exit, just allowing her to gain a little bit more momentum. But such a strong catch by Sophia here. She's a really, really strong athlete and just really, really powerful and fit. So great to see her here in this 500. So we'll wait for confirmation of those results as well, but does look like Canada, Germany, and Hungary in the second heat will be advancing to the A final, and then the rest of the athletes will be going to the semi-final here to vie for a spot alongside those who've already qualified. As mentioned, so Sophia Jensen taking a 1.5 second win here over Lisa Jan from Germany. Vieragbaya coming in third place here in qualifying automatically for the A final. So Katarina Spirjkiewicz and Vanessa Tot, both from Poland and Croatia, will go to the semi-final.
You know, this is an international event, as you can see all the flags there, but it's of course also a community event, and the passion that the folks who live here have for canoeing is on full display this week, from flags flying on balconies to the excitement among the kids at Camp Canoe who see where the journey in sport can take them. So thank you to everyone who makes their dreams possible, and thank you to our community sponsors, Downtown Dartmouth, Develop Nova Scotia, and Halifax Water. We're going to go now to the start line of the men's C1 1,000 meter heats, where only the winner goes straight to the final peel.
Yeah, again, 3 heats here. Should be an exciting set of races. Again, this is the Olympic event and one of the marquee canoeing events, so should be quite an exciting race. Sadly, the German paddler, Konrad Schiebner, not able to take the start line due to COVID, so not racing here this weekend. He is the defending world champion in this race. We're just getting ready here at the start line of the 1,000 meters. Everything making its way up the lake from the 500 so that we can get started here in the first of 3 heats of the men's C1 1,000.
Minutes to the start of race number 82. C1 1,000 meters, heat number 1. All boats, please come to the starting area in your lane. Lane 2, United States. Lane 3, Italy. Lane 4, Cuba. Lane 5, Czech Republic. Lane 6, Poland. Lane 7, Slovakia. And lane 8, Japan. 2 minutes to the start of race number 82, C1 1000 meters, seat number 1. For boats, please come to the starting area in your lane. 2 minutes to the start.
So the athletes are just making their way to the start line now at the 1,000 meters for this first heat of the C1 Men 1,000. Again, first place only will be advancing to the A final. Second to seventh will be moving on to the semifinals.
Gentlemen, we have just 1 minute to the start, so please come to the start line. Please come to the start line.
In lane 1 will in lane 2 we'll have the American Ian Ross, who spent the summer training with the Germans and competes for the Washington Canoe Club, C finalist in this event in 2019, also racing the 500 event this week. So in lane 2, Ian Ross from the United States. In lane 3, and we'll have the Rio 2016 C1000 meter finalist and a 2-time World Championship medalist in C1 500, including bronze in 2021. He's a 3-time under-23 World Championship medalist from Italy, Carlo Tacchini. In lane 4, the Tokyo 2020 Olympian, winner of the B final in Tokyo in this event, 2019 Junior World Champion in C1000 and 2-time silver junior medalist in C2000 from Cuba, Jose Cordova. In lane 5, the 2-time Olympian who raced C1000 in Rio and C1000 and C2000 with his brother Peter in Tokyo. He's a 5-time silver medalist in this event, including in 2021, and the world record holder from the Czech Republic, Martin Fuchsa. It does look like we had a false start here in this event, so they will circle back as we get underway, and we'll be able to finish the introduction of the athletes in the meantime. Lane 6 from Poland, Viktor Glazunov. He's a 2020 Olympian in C2000 and C1000 and 3-time silver world medalist in C2 and C4. He's the 2016 under-23 C1000 meter silver medalist. In lane 7, the B finalist in C1000 from last year's World Championships, consistently at the top of the B final in the 500 and the 1000, from Slovakia, Matej Rusnak. And in lane 8, the 25-year-old who's been on the World Cup circuit since 2017, 12th in the C2000 in 2017, from Japan, Hikaru Sato. So athletes will just reset here and head back to the start line, and we'll get information on who committed the false start as we get underway in this first heat of the C1 Men's 1,000 meter.
This is a test. Please come back to the start line, gentlemen, as soon as possible. Please come to the
So
start
just
line.
about to get reset here for this first heat of the men's C1 1,000 meters. Athletes have circled back to the starting area now and will be taking their lanes again. Once again, lane 1, lane 2 USA, lane 3 Italy, lane 4 Cuba, lane 5 Czech Republic, lane 6 Poland, lane 7 Slovakia, lane 8 Japan in this first heat of the men's C1. Winner goes directly to the A final.
Thank you.
wait for the start sign out. Thank you, gentlemen. Ready, set.
And we have a start in the first heat of the men's C1 1,000 meters. In lane 2, the United States, lane 3, Italy, lane 4, Cuba, lane 5, the Czech Republic, lane 6, Poland, lane 7, Slovakia, and lane 8, Japan. So athletes are now underway in this first heat of the C1 1000. Should be a really fast one as athletes are vying for that top spot to take them directly to the A final. Really star-studded field with Martin Fuchs, the two-time Olympian and the world record holder in this event, who won this at both World Cups earlier this year, but also Carlo Tacchini and Jose Cordova and Poland's Viktor Glazunov. So should be a really great race between those four athletes as they're all vying to take that top spot. As we get to the 250 meter mark, a quarter of the way through, it does look like Italy's Carlo Tacchini is currently in the lead over the Czech Republic, Martin Fuchs, Viktor Glazunov in third, and Cuba's Jose Cordova in fourth, all within 0.6 of a second. So close field here for these four athletes as they're getting to the quarter point. Just approaching the 500 meter mark here, the field is starting to spread out a little bit, but still those four athletes very much in contention. We should start seeing a little bit of a move from them as they're trying to make their mark here and take the lead. But it does look like Carlo Tacchini still a little bit of a lead over Martin Fuchs and Viktor Glazunov, and Jose Cordova just hanging on here for fourth place as we are going through. But sub 2 minutes here going through in this headwind, really fast times as those athletes are really competing to take that win here in this first heat of the C1 1000. We should see the rate start to increase a little bit here as athletes will start to make a move to take the lead, approaching about 300 meters to go here in the remainder of this race. Again, lots of experience here from world medalists, Olympians, and all of them. So all four leaders now having raced at the Olympics, having raced this event a lot and everything. But it does look like Jose Cordova is falling down behind just a little bit as Martin Fuchs and Carlo Tacchini are fighting this out at the moment. Viktor Glazunov still staying quite close, but seems to be falling behind just a little bit as it stands. And at the 750 meter mark, Martin Fuchs taking the lead over Carlo Tacchini by 0.3, and Poland and Cuba just falling behind a little bit. So you can see that rate from Martin Fuchs just increasing here with 200 meters to go. Starting to just make sure that he's getting in front of Carlo Tacchini's, the paddlers from Italy, as the first place finisher will be advancing directly to the A final. But Carlo Tacchini not going away here, responding to Martin Fuchs's advance and really trying to fight it for that first spot. So the two of them fighting it out here as they're entering the last 100 meters of this race. You can see that rate increasing again. Martin Fuchs trying to make a push for the line here, but it's still neck and neck as we're going through. And Carlo Tacchini hanging on here in the last 50 meters of this race, of this 100. You can see him gritting his teeth as he's coming in the last few strokes, and actually might be taking this as Martin Fuchs just kind of eases back and concedes. So Italy's Carlo Tacchini celebrating across the line as he'll be advancing directly to the A final in this first heat of the C1 1000 meters. So what a great race here in this first heat of the C1000. Congratulations to Carlo Tacchini taking the win here over Martin Fuchs. Jose Cordova and Viktor Glazunov completing the top four. So should be an exciting set of semis for a number of these athletes a little bit later this week as they're competing. But Carlo Tacchini will be moving on directly to the A final. And Great start from Poland here right away, taking the lead early. Such a lot of power off the line. The start in the 1,000 meter, not quite as important. You still want to be in a good place, but the race is so long that it becomes a little bit about more strategy. When do you make your move? When do you respond to the field? How do you kind of play this out with the conditions? But all of those athletes certainly have great race plans and know what they have to do. Obviously, if you're not as much in contention, you might hold some energy back a little bit and save some for the semifinal. But those two, Martin Fuchsa and Carlo Tacchini, going head-to-head here all the way to the last few strokes, and Tacchini taking the best of Martin Fuchsa in this instance.
And it seems like that's exactly what happened there with Martin Fuchsa, just realizing that it was a good idea to conserve that energy for the semifinal, which will be coming up.
Yeah, and similar yesterday in the 500 with Martin, so might need a little bit of rest, but we do have a start in the second race here of the heat, so they're already underway. In lane 2 we have Latvia, lane 3 China, lane 5 Romania, lane 6 Moldova, lane 7 Brazil, lane 8 Spain, and lane 9 Mexico. Again, this should be a really strong field. A number of these athletes have raced the 500 yesterday. An early lead here for Romania is Catalin Chirila, winner yesterday in the C1 500 and going directly to the final yesterday. So great to see him in good form. He did quite well on the World Cup circuit earlier this year. Moldova's Sergei Tarnowski in second place in the 500, and Ezequiel dos Santos, again, also a winner yesterday in the 500 and the Olympic champion in this event, currently in third place at the halfway point. And we've talked about this in the first race. The 500 is really when people start making their move. Rates might change a little bit. There might be a bit of an attack as the winner here will advance directly to the A final. So certainly a lot on the line for those athletes. But those three are extremely strong paddlers, have a lot of experience, and they'll know when they're ready to make their move to try to take on the field. So Sergei Tarnowski here, the Olympic bronze medalist in this event from Tokyo last year, gritting his teeth here as he's approaching the last 250, but it still looks like Catalin Chirila from Romania and still holding off the rest of the field and holding off the Olympic champion. Brazil is just picking up the rate a little bit here and trying to move through. Certainly Moldova, who I think realizes that this might be a two-boat race, but Catalin Chirila is out a boat ahead with 200 meters to go, and Brazil is just turning on the jets here, trying to catch up in the last few meters. But Catalin Chirila's rate has also gone up, trying to fight off the attack as we're going through. So certainly a very close race between those two athletes as we're entering the last 150 of this 1,000-meter race in the second heat. It does look like Ezequiel dos Santos is mounting a challenge here as we're coming in. He is moving through Catalin Chirila with the last few strokes, but still a little bit of the lead for the Romanians. So we are coming into the wire here. Last few strokes, about a nose between the two of them. Very, very close race. Winner goes straight to the A final, so lots on the line here. But those two athletes coming to the wire, and it does look like Catalin Chirila from Romania does take the win here and advances directly. So beating the Olympic and world champion, so quite great race here from him, and really setting his mark.
Yeah, they're certainly keeping us and the fans on their toes too. I'm not sure if you can hear all the cheering that's going on for those of you who might be watching on the live stream, but a lot of excitement here as these athletes compete in these heats.
Yeah, and 1,000 meters is such a taxing event, so having to race an extra one just definitely does take a lot of energy. But great effort here for Catalin Chirila, just taking this right away from the get-go, kind of trusting in himself that he can carry this through the entire way and hold off the Olympic champion. So he's done really well in the World Cup circuit, had come close races with Martin Fuchsa earlier this year, so he is in good form here, so it's great to see him go directly and join Carlo Tacchini directly to the final. But again, at the 200-meter mark, about a boat ahead, and then this got decided in a boat shoot. So big move here in the last little while by Ezequiel dos Santos from Brazil. Just not quite enough to take the win in the second heat of the C1 1000.
So we do have one heat left in the men's C1000 here, and one more chance for that top finisher to head straight to the final.
We do have the start list for this third heat of the C1 men 1,000 meters. Just about to get underway in about 2 minutes. In lane 2, we have the athlete from Chinese Taipei, second in C1000 at the Asian Olympic qualifier last year, Quan Lai. In lane 2, the 2016 Rio Olympian and silver medalist in C1 500 in 2019 from Bulgaria, Angel Kudinov. In lane 3, the two-time Olympian, fourth in Tokyo in C1000, and the 2019 World Championship bronze medalist from France, Adrien Barth. In lane 4, the Tokyo 2020 and Rio 2016 Olympian racing C1000 and C2000, 11th in this event in 2019, from Ukraine, Pavlo Altikov. In lane 5, the Tokyo 2020 Olympian and 2021 World Championship bronze medalist in the 1,000 meter and gold medalist in the 5K from Hungary, Balázs Adolf. In lane 6, the Tokyo 2020 Olympian coming 6th in C2000 with Roland Varga, the 2021 World Champion in C1 500 and silver in C1000. From Canada, representing Shinobi, Connor Fitzpatrick. In lane 7, the under-23 and junior world finalist in C1000, B finalist last year at the World Championship from Estonia, Josef Carlsen. As we're approaching the 250 mark here, it does look like a great race from Pavlo Altikov in the early lead over France, Adrien Barth, and Bulgaria's Angel Kudinov. And Balázs Adolf in 4th place at the moment with Hungary, and Connor Fitzpatrick staying in the mix here in the early stages of this 1,000 meters. And approaching the 500 meter mark here, it does look to be a battle between Pavlo Altikov from the Ukraine and Adrien Barth at this point from France, with a number of athletes in the mix, including Connor Fitzpatrick and Balázs Adolf from Hungary in 3rd and 4th place respectively. But really, really close race between the two leaders at the moment, 0.1 separating the two of them. Approaching the 250 meters left, it looks like Adrien Barth had made a slight move here and taken the lead over Pavlo Altikov. Connor Fitzpatrick currently in 3rd or 4th place, very close with Hungary's Adolf, and trying to close here a really strong race for him. But it does look like everything seems to go Adrien Barth's way at the moment. Pavlo Altikov picking up the rate, trying to mount a challenge on him at the moment. A great racing here from the Frenchman. Lots of experience in these races, certainly one of the more powerful ones. Enjoying this headwind, a bit of a longer race, and picking up the rate here as he's approaching the last 100 meters. Again, winner will be moving on directly to the A final, and it does look like Adrien Barth has done enough at this point to take this win over the rest of the field, as Pavlo Altikov saves a little bit of energy here in the last few meters. Again, these positions in the other positions will matter depending, because it will impact which semifinal the athletes are slated into. So certainly still want to be in position in the area where you need to be, so that you don't fall into a semifinal. That might be extremely difficult or extremely easy based on what happened. But great win here by Adrien Barth, taking that 3rd heat and advancing directly to the A final.
And nice to see Canadian Connor Fitzpatrick there coming in 4th. So we will see him again in a semifinal.
again, neck and neck at the 500, and really just did enough for Adrien Barth to take the lead here over Pavel Altakov and secure this win here in the third heat of the men's C1 1,000 meters.
We are heading into doubles action next with a pair of men's K2 1,000 meter heats. And the top 3 finishers will head directly to the final. A reminder as well that our drink partners, Nine Locks Brewing, Lake City Cider, and Coldstream Distillery, have a variety of refreshments available over in the licensed beverage area that we like to call the finish line. Over to you, PL.
Thanks very much. Yeah, this used to be the Olympic distance. Against one of the doubles were impacted by a change for the Paris program. So now the K2 500 is now on the Olympic program, and the 1,000 was contested in Tokyo. So certainly some exciting races here that will be taking place. But some athletes may be prioritizing the 500. And we'll have in lane 2 from Singapore, Hovi Kalich-Levan and Zan Teo. In lane 3 from Spain, Aitor Gorochkakeki and Pedro Vasquez. In lane 4 from Germany, Martin Hiller and Thomas Grossman. In lane 5, Denmark, Morten Graversen and Simon Jensen, the World Championship silver medalist. In lane 6, Samuel Balash and Denis Michak, the 2020 Olympic bronze medalist in K4 500 and 10th in K2000 from Slovakia. And in lane 8, Samuel Borgo and Andrea Shera. Samuel did compete last year at the 2020 Olympics. And at the 750 mark, Germany taking the lead over Denmark and Slovakia. Spain currently in 4th place. So close racing here in this K2 men's 1,000. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the A final, 4th to 7th moving to the B final. To the semifinals. And approaching the 500 meter mark here, it does look like Germany is still maintaining their lead over Italy, and Denmark, the 3 crews continuing to drive, with Slovakia just a little bit behind here at the halfway point. Again, top 3 taking their spot directly to the A final, so folks will be fighting for those top 3 spots and save themselves one of the thousands in the semis. And approaching the 750 meter mark, it does look like Germany is continuing to maintain their lead, and Italy and Denmark together with Slovakia is making a little bit of a comeback now, moving on to Denmark. in the last 200 meters. So again, top 3 advancing, so certainly a bit of a race here for 3rd place between all these athletes. You can see the rate increasing drastically here as they're trying to secure their direct entry to the A final. So Germany and Italy certainly in control, but Denmark and Slovakia racing and head-to-head here at this point. The rate continues to increase here between these two boats as they're trying to secure that 3rd place. So a lot of fighting between Denmark and Slovakia here. Some 2 experienced crews about a few inches apart as we're entering the last 50 meters of this race. Slovakia coming in strong and Denmark just trying to hold on in the last few meters here as we're coming through. So should be a nail biter as we're coming into the last few meters of this race. But it does look like Denmark may have done just enough to hold off Slovakia. But no doubt about Germany and Italy taking in the top 2 spots. The Germany taking the win here. Martin Hiller and Thomas Grossman taking top spot and advancing directly to the A final in the men's K2 1,000 meters.
The crews in our second and final men's K2 1,000 meter heats are making their way to the start line. And a reminder that you can find all of the event results from Canoe 22 and much more at canoe22.com. And also for another look at the action, you can follow at Canoe_2022. At Canoe_22 on social media, and you can use the hashtag Canoe22 to share all of your experiences and your photos with us as well.
So again, just a shot here of the finish in slow motion. So Germany taking the win by about 3/4 of her boat, but Denmark and Slovakia a few inches as they're coming through for that 3rd place and automatic qualifier spot. So heartbreaking for Slovakia, Balash and Misak here. As they'll have to go through the semifinals to earn their spot into the A final. So confirmation of the results here, Germany, Italy, and Denmark advancing directly to the A final. While Slovakia, Spain, and Singapore will have to go through the semifinal. And we're just about ready to go here in the second heat of the K2 men's 1,000 meters. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the A final. And in lane 1, we have the crew from Mexico. Daniel is an under-23 Mexican entry at the 2019 World Championships in K1 200 and K2000 from Mexico, Osvaldo Fuentes and Daniel Ledesma. In lane 3, new crew from the USA with both members of the US K4 over the last few years, representing the Lanier Canoe-Kayak Club and his San Diego Canoe and Kayak team, Nathan Hurston and Nathaniel Ares. In lane 4, World Championships bronze medalist and Ballage is the defending K1 5K world champion and 2-time silver medalist in the under-23 K4 from Hungary, Tamás Kulifaj and Paracanoe. In lane 5, members of the under-23 crewboat program over the last few years achieving many A finals. Junior world silver medalist in K2000 back in 2018 from the Czech Republic, Willem Kukaka and Jan Vorel. In lane 5, the 2020 Olympian in this event finishing 14th with Vincent Jourdanet, and Cameron racing at his first World Championship from the Balmy Beach Canoe Club and Ridge Canoe-Kayak Club from Canada, Cameron Lowe and Brian Malfazy. In lane 7, a young crew from Puerto Rico, including the Junior World entry from last year's World Championship, Puerto Rico, Rodrigo Gonzalez and Christian Santiago. And in lane 8, the 2018 Junior World silver medalist in K4 500 and the 2-time Junior World finalist in K4 500, 5th in Poznan earlier this year in K1 500 from Poland, Filip Wekwert and Viktor Lesinski. And top 3 here will be advancing directly to the A final in the men's K2 1,000 meter event. And at the 750 meter mark, Poland is in the lead with Hungary in second place, Czech in third, and Canada having a strong showing in the early stages in fourth. Yeah, and this is a new crew for Canada racing together. The entry last year of Brian Malfazy, lots of experience in the K2000, raced last year with Vincent Jourdanet du Club de Canoe-Kayak de Vitesse de Trois-Rivières. So new crew this year between these two, looking to come top three here and advance directly to the A final. But it does look like Poland and Hungary at this stage have a commanding lead, but strong and close race between Canada and the Czech Republic for third place as we're approaching the 500 meter mark here in the second heat of the men's K2 1000 meters. So commanding lead here from the Junior World medalists, the two Junior Worlds finalists pairing together from Poland. In second place, Hungary. Third place, Canada has now overtaken the Czech Republic, and the USA is still in the mix now in fourth place as well. Approaching about 300 meters to go now. It does look like Poland is continuing to build on its lead with Hungary in second place, and then third place, a really close race between the Czech Republic and Canada for that last direct entry spot. It does look like the United States are also making their way into this race a little bit as we're approaching the last few hundred meters, but the Czech Republic has responded and built a bit of a lead back onto Canada. Their rate has actually just gone up quite a bit trying to secure that third spot, and Canada's rate is increasing as well, trying to mount a bit of a challenge, but it may be a little bit too late at this stage. But it does look like Poland and Hungary advancing with no problem, and then the Czech Republic just keep leaving it to a little bit late, but now accelerating through as they're securing that third spot and direct entry into the A final.
Please come to the competition committee in the tower. Thank you.
So Hungary coming in late, taking the win here over Poland, and the Czech Republic securing that third place and direct entry into the A final. Canada and the United States coming in fourth and fifth here in the second heat of the men's K2 1000 meters. So the World Championships bronze medalists here showing that they're here to mean business and continuing to the A final. So we'll see them again and vie for a medal. And just entering the last 100 meters now, the crew from Puerto Rico just increasing their rate as they're going for time here in the last few meters. So certainly continuing to drive here, this young crew from Puerto Rico, the Junior World entry from last year, and the 16-year-old who's entering his first World Championship. So Puerto Rico just coming in here in the last few meters as they're crossing the line here in the second heat of the men's K2 1000 meters.
After this, we will be returning to singles action. Our women's K1 1000 meter competitors are up next. We do have two heats in this event, with the top three finishers in each earning a direct path to the final. And at this time, we would like to thank our sponsors, Sport Canada, the province of Nova Scotia, and the Halifax Regional Municipality.
Nous voulons prendre un moment pour remercier nos commanditaires, Sport Canada, la province de la Nouvelle-Écosse et la municipalité régionale d'Halifax. So confirmation of those results here. Hungary taking the win here, and Poland and the Czech Republic coming in second and third and advancing directly to the A final. All the other boats will be moving to the semifinals later this week. And we're just about to get underway in 2 minutes here in the women's K1 1000 meter world champion Alida Gatso from Hungary, taking the start this week in a number of events, but being replaced by Esther Rendesi from Hungary here as the Hungarian representative. So in lane 2 in this first heat of the K1 women's 1,000 meter, we'll have the 19-year-old K4 500 silver medalist at the Junior Pan Am Games in 2021 from Mexico, Aylin Gonzalez. In lane 3, the 21-year-old member of the sprint and marathon team, 4th place in the 5K in Poznan earlier this year, from Sweden, Rebecca Gorksdotter. In lane 4, the Tokyo 2020 bronze medalist in K4 500 meters, silver at the 2019 World Championship in this event, and 2-time medalist in K2 1000. She is a world champion in under 23 K2 and 2 times junior world champion from Poland, Justyna Izryka. In lane 5, the silver medalist in the K1 1000 meters at the 2021 Under 23 World Championships and 4th at the 2021 Senior World Championship from the Czech Republic, Aneska Paludova. In lane 6, the silver medalist at the Under 23 K2 500 in 2021 and 2018, 5th in K1 500 at the Under 23 World Championship last year from Germany, Julia Hergert. In lane 7, the member of the Canadian K2 and K4 team over the last few years, achieving some solid results at World Cups and World Championships throughout the last Olympic quad, looking to build towards Paris, representing the Balmy Beach Canoe Club from Canada, Courtney Stott. In lane 8, the 3-time junior world champion and 2021 Under 23 K4 world champion. She's also a 2-time world champion in marathon canoeing and 2021 senior K2 world champion in the 26K race from Hungary, Esther Rendesi. And in lane 9, member of the Spanish marathon team from 2014 to 16 before making the switch to the spring team, the 2019 Under 23 K1000 meter 4th place finisher from Spain, Estefania Fernandez. And we are underway in this first heat of the women's K1 1000 meters. Top 3 advancing directly to the finals. A long race here, a number of athletes you can see with marathon backgrounds, knowing what it takes to kind of put a strong race over a 4-minute event here. But looks like a really strong start here from Poland's Justyna Izryka, as well as the Czech Republic Aneska Paludova in the early stages of this race. Esther Rendesi in 2nd place for Hungary, and Canada's Courtney Stott currently in 4th place. Again, the wind continues to pick up a little bit here on Lake Banook, so races being a little bit longer, so biding your time here in the 1000, executing your race plan. Does look like we continue to have lane 4, 5, and 8 currently in the top 3 spot, but Germany's Julia Hergert is putting herself in contention now as we're approaching the 500 meter mark. Close race here for those top 3 position in the 1000 meters. Lane 9, from Spain, Estefania Fernandez also continuing to put herself and climbing back towards the leaders. So it looks like Poland, Hungary, then the Czech Republic, and Germany in a close 4th as we are halfway in this 1000 meter event. And it does look like the field is continuing to narrow a little bit as we are approaching the last few stages of this race, approaching the 250 meter marks to go. Continuing to have a strong race from Poland, Justyna Izryka, as well as the Czech Republic, Aneska Paludova. Hungary's Esther Rendesi taking the lead at this point, but it does look like we have a mounting challenge from Spain. Estefania Fernandez coming from the outside again. Marathon team has a lot of experience in this event. Was the K1000 fourth place finisher in 2018 at the Under 23 World Championship. So coming in strong here from lane 9. So some of the athletes in the middle may not see her as she's coming in, but top 3 will be advancing directly. So we see the rate kind of come up now as athletes are reacting to that challenge. See Poland picking up the pace a little bit, as well as Hungary. The Czech Republic and Germany just falling behind a little bit now at this stage. But Hungary and Spain going strong here in the closing stages. So looking at Esther Rendesi making a move back on Estefania Fernandez from Spain, while Justina Izrizga continues to have a strong race here in this event as we are closing the first heat of this women's K1 1000 meters. So solid win here from Esther Rendesi from Hungary, and second place from lane 9, Estefania Fernandez, and it looks like third place from Poland in lane 4. So solid win here by the 3 times junior world champion from Hungary.
That was all of them certainly working hard to vie for those top 3 spots, and now they'll get that extra advantage of getting to move straight to the final.
And certainly it's a long race with a lot of lead changes that happen, so you want to be in a good spot, but you also need to be able to react. Different race plans will yield different charges at different times, so being able to have speed at any point during the race if you want to kind of play a bit of a mental game as you're going through. But again, Spanish athlete being about 2 to 3 seconds at the halfway point and able to push and be right there for the win at the end. So certainly a great charge here, as we can see, taking the lead with 200 to go. So that 500 to 200, really one big part of her race plan, and she made a commitment to trying to move through the field. But Hungary didn't want to let that win go, and certainly reacted and took this away from Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. And aside from having your own race plan, you have to adapt, of course, to what other athletes are doing around you, like we saw here.
Yeah, so great shot here of the slow motion coming in through the end. So Esther Rendesi taking the win, and then Spain's Estefania Fernandez in second, and then Poland Justina Izrizga coming in third place. And those 3 athletes will be moving on to the A final directly, while the others will have to go to the semi-final. In Canada's Courtney Stott coming in 7th place here, advancing to the semi-final in the K1 1000. And we do have a start in the second heat of the women's K1000. In lane 1 from Singapore, Angelica C. In lane 2 from the United States, Savannah Wright. In lane 3 from Italy, Irene Burgo. In lane 4, the 2-time Olympian and earlier winner in Rachitse from Australia, Elisa Boll. In lane 5, from Denmark, the 2015 Junior World Champion in K4 500 and silver medalist in K1 500, the 2021 World Championship bronze medalist from Denmark, Pernille Knudsen. And in lane 6, the semi-finalist at the World Championships last year, who's been a consistent finalist in the under 23 age group over the last few years, from Croatia, Ana-Maria Govorcinovic. So should expect a really strong race here from Elisa Boll. Her race in the Czech Republic was really dominating, took the win right away, and as you can see, built a bit of a strong lead here, 1.5 seconds over the rest of the field early on. Croatia, Denmark, and Italy being 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at this point. So approaching 600 meters to go here. It does look like Elisa Boll is continuing to build on her lead. And then great racing here so far by Croatia in 2nd place, Ana-Maria Govorcinovic. And then in 3rd place, it looks like Denmark is continuing to secure that 3rd spot as it stands. And at the halfway point, it is Australia's Elisa Boll in the lead. In 2nd place, Croatia, Ana-Maria Govorcinovic. And in 3rd place, from Denmark, Pernille Knudsen. Fourth place at this stage, Italy's Irene Burgo. But it does look like those three athletes are doing enough at the halfway point to take the top three places that will be advancing automatically to the A final. The wind is continuing to pick up a little bit, so times are slowing down, which means all those races are taking a lot longer than they may have taken if it was a bit of a tailwind or flat water. So certainly athletes have to take that into consideration as they're racing here. But Elisa Bull is continuing her domination of this race. She's led since the start here and has built a lead of about 2.5 seconds over Anna Maria Govorsinovic from Croatia. In third place, Denmark, Pernille Knudsen continuing to hold that third place and automatic qualifying spot to the A final. Entering the last 100 meter of this race, it does look like those three athletes are continuing to hold their lead. Again, just a bit of a formality here and coming through the top three. Irene Burgo is picking up her rate in fourth place, trying to mount a bit of a challenge here, or at least securing herself and executing her race plan as she gets ready for her final or semi-final. But we're having a really good race here between these three athletes. Denmark's Pernille Knudsen is just picking up the rate a little bit here as well to close this out in a really strong fashion, but no doubt about the winner, Elisa Bull from Australia, led from start to finish here in this second heat of the women's K1 1000 meters, and she'll advance directly to the A final. Again, lots of power again, and just endurance through Elisa Bull. And we've seen this in Rachitse earlier this year, so certainly I'm looking to take this world title from a number of the field. But the first heat being a lot tighter, I think we'll see a number of these athletes really push her in that final. So it should be an exciting final. If we think about Esther Rendesi's strong performance in that first race, as well as the Spanish athlete, and then and the Polish athlete as well. So it should be a good race for the medals when we move on to the A final of the women's K1 1000 meters.
And as our midday break draws near, we do have 2 heats of men's canoe doubles coming up. And then we have a special event and something that Canoe 22 is very proud of. One of our major partners, Canoe-Kayak Canada, has brought their Paddle All program here to Lake Banook. So this is the first time that these exhibition races have been included in an ICF World Championship event. This program encourages and supports athletes with intellectual disabilities. So we'll look forward to those races starting at 12:20, and just before that, we will head to the start line for the men's C2.
And similar to and a nice shot here from the drones that are getting activated here at the top of Lake Banook. So you get a nice view of the top of the lake as we're making our way to the 1,000-meter start line here in the C2 1000. Again, the C2 1000 was the Olympic distance in Tokyo, will not be in Paris as it moves to the 500-meter distance. So a bit of adjustment for the various crews as we're getting ready to go here in this first heat of the C2 1000 meters. 2 heats here, so top 3 will advance directly to the A final, and then the remaining boats will move to the B final. But some of these crews should be familiar. We saw them in action yesterday in the C2 500, and we'll be looking to see some strong contenders. So in lane 2, we will have China's crew. So China took the silver medal in the 1,000-meter event in Tokyo last year. There is a world champion in C2 from 2019, and an athlete from a marathon background who has also competed at the 2018 Youth Olympic Game. So from China, Hao Liu Bowen Ji. In lane 3, 2018 B finalist in C1 500 and C1 1000 meter, pairing up with the 2015 and 2016 Junior World C1000 B finalists from Japan, Ryo Naganuma and Shuhei Osumi. In lane 3, the 2021 world champion in C2 500 had a dominating performance yesterday in the 500 as well. Both athletes have a lot of international experience and should be one of the crews to watch. Silver in Recice earlier this year. From Italy, Nicolai Krasciun and Daniele Santini. In lane 5, crew made up of the 2015 Junior World medalist at the World Marathon Championship. Bronze earlier this year in Recice and silver in Poznan. From Poland, Dominik Nowacki and Norman Zizula. In lane 6, a Junior World silver medalist who placed 5th at the 2019 Under-23 World Championships in C1000, and a 3-time World Championship medalist in C4, 5th in Recice and Poznan earlier this year. From the Ukraine, Viktor Zverdiuk and Edward Shemetilo. In lane 7, a silver medalist last year as part of the C4 500 meter crew at the Under-23 World, and a 2021 mixed C2 Junior World silver medalist, 8th last year in this event. From Spain, Noel Dominguez and Diego Dominguez. And in lane 8, 4th in Tokyo over the 1000 meter and 2nd in Rio, Erlin Silva being a member of this crew. Felipe Vieira also has experience in this event, finishing 4th at the 2021 World Cup in Szeged in the C2 500, or 2020 World Cup in Szeged in the C2 500. From Brazil, Erlon Silva and Felipe Vieira. And we are underway in this first heat of the C2 men 1000 meter, approaching the 750 mark, with Spain taking an early lead over China, Poland, and then the Ukraine, all 4 boats within 0.2 of a second. So certainly is a 4-boat race in the early stages of this race, between China, Poland, Italy, and Spain. Staying in touch is also lane 8, Brazil, Erlon Silva and Felipe Vieira, as they're staying in contention again. The top 3 spot will advance directly to the final. So lots on the line here for these athletes. And approaching the halfway point, it's Poland in the lead at the moment over China, followed by Spain and the Ukraine. Brazil staying in the picture at this stage, but falling behind a little bit more as we're going. So we'll like to see a surge from them as we are entering the second half of this race. It does look like the rate is picking up a little bit as they're trying to get back into the mix for one of those top 3 spots here in the C2 1000 meters. China just continuing to react. Poland was in the lead at the 500, and China reacting here, putting together a bit of an acceleration to take the lead. Does look like China, Poland, and Spain are the 3 boats to watch at this stage of the race, with Ukraine and Brazil falling behind a little bit at this stage. And approaching the 250 mark here, China continues to be in the lead, about a full boat length over Poland, and it looks like Spain is about just a nose behind Poland here. The rate is increasing a little bit, and we'll see Ukraine try to mount a little bit of a challenge here as they're coming into the last 200, but it does look pretty steady as we're coming in. Brazil did pick up their rate here, trying to come in from behind and challenge Poland and Spain here in the last few hundred meters. So Erlon Silva and Felipe Vieira trying to come from behind here in the closing stages to snag that 3rd place and that automatic spot to qualify to the A final. No doubts about the leaders here. China continuing to control this race with Poland and Spain. And Brazil coming in strong here in the last few moments, but it may be a little bit too late as they're coming into the last few meters. They're still pushing through very strongly, and actually are making a really big push as we're coming in the last few meters here. A few meters between those boats, but it does look like Poland and Spain will hold on for 2nd and 3rd, and Brazil will have to take 4th place and go through the semifinal process to join the A final. But great win here by Hao Liu and Bowen Ji from China, taking this first heat of the C2 men's 1000 meters. Again, a few lead changes in this race, with Poland being in the lead at the 500, and then China just having a really strong 500 to 750, able to take a bit of a lead there. Approaching the 200, you can see building about a boat lead over the rest of the field, and just controlling the pace, controlling the race as they've done. China's been a powerhouse in C2 in the last few years and has done incredibly well at the World and Olympic stage, and in this event and the 500 event before. And again, Brazil just coming in a little late in this race here with those two athletes, about half a boat between them and Spain for the third spot, so they'll have to go to the semifinal. And Poland and Spain delighted there to just take on that automatic qualifying spot to the A final. And we have the results now for that C2 1,000-meter first heat. So confirmation of China, Poland, and Spain advancing to the A final. 0.6 between Spain and Brazil for that third spot.
And as we head to the final men's C2 heat, a shout out to Turnkey Travel, who helped us organize travel and accommodations for the hundreds of athletes competing this week.
Yeah, thanks, Priya. And then, yeah, so getting ready here for that second heat of the men's C2 1,000 meters. A number of really strong contenders here in this race again. So in lane 3, we'll have a new crew for Hungary in this event. Balázs is an under-23 bronze medalist in 2018 in this event, and David is a 2018 junior world champion in canoe marathon and a 2021 under-23 C4 500 bronze medalist. So for Hungary, Balázs Kiss and David Odovan. In lane 4, the Tokyo 2020 bronze medalist in this event, also made of Sebastian Brendel, or the 3-time Olympian and 3-time Olympic champion, a 21-time world championship medalist. So from Germany, Sebastian Brendel and Tim Hecker. In lane 5, a World Cup and under-23 World Championship finalist in C1000 with strong experience in C2, and Brett making his debut on the World Championship stage this year, 4th earlier this year in Rychitsa and Poznan. From Canada, Craig Spence and Brett Himmelman. In lane 6, a crew with a lot of experience racing C2 and C4 over the last few years. A 2021 under-23 double medalist in C2 in silver in 500 and bronze in the 1,000. 5th in Poznan and 7th in Rychitsa earlier this year. From the Czech Republic, Antonin Hrabal and Ziri and Jiří Zalubil. And great start here by the German boat, as you'd expect. The bronze medalist last year in the C2000. Lots of experience rating thousands between the two of them in the C2 in this event. So you'd expect that they'd be one of the favorites in this race to qualify automatically to the A final. And they are in the early lead here, bringing Hungary, Canada, and the Czech Republic alongside with them. Again, top 3 advancing directly to the A final. So certainly those top 3 positions really important here to be able to skip the semifinal, save some energy through the weekend. Really strong, powerful strokes here by Sebastian Brendel and Tim Hecker as they're getting through the first half of this race. Hungary is staying right with them, and Canada and the Czech Republic fighting it out for 3rd at the moment. But again, long race still to go in the second heat of the C2 men's 1,000 meters. Just approaching the 500-meter mark here, Germany continues to build their lead, but Canada's moved into the 2nd place position at this point, with Hungary and the Czech Republic being really, really close for 3rd. So certainly a 4-boat race at this point for 3 automatic spot qualifying. Germany remains in control. Canada has done their pickup now, trying to move through the field and actually starting to challenge Germany here a little bit as they're coming into the last 400 meters. Hungary and the Czech Republic staying in touch as well. So it should be an exciting second half of the 1,000 meters here in the C2000. shot of the Canadians here, continuing to move through the field, holding on to that second place at the moment in automatic spot. So Germany continuing to lead here as we're approaching the 250 mark. Germany, Canada, Hungary, and then the Czech Republic. Expecting everyone to pick up their rate here, trying to make a last-minute move as we are closing this down in the 1,000 meter, the second heat of this C2 race. Germany, then Canada, and then the Czech Republic just increasing their rate here in the last 200 meters. Hungary controlling that third place, but certainly still very, very close between those four crews. Germany's just picked up the rate now, as you can see, continuing and just building on that lead, making sure that they're safe and secure as they're going through. Canada and Hungary still neck and neck now, with Hungary making a bit of a move again in the last 100 meters. Those red buoys, and the athletes can see the finish line and see that A final coming in very quickly. But Germany moving away from the field now as they've made that late surge here. Canada trying to stay away from the wash and just close this out and move automatically to the A final. They still are holding on that second place over Hungary, and the Czech Republic will have to sadly take fourth place here and go through the semifinals.
Nice showing by the Canadians there in second place.
Yeah, and a big high five from those two crews, from those two athletes qualifying automatically to the A final. The representatives from Chima and Masqua here in Nova Scotia. So great to see local athletes will be contending a gold medal on the A final later this week in the C2 1000. But great win here by Sebastian Brendel and Tim Hecker, the bronze medalists from last year in the C2000 in Tokyo. Again, approaching the last 200 meters here. Germany, then Canada, then Hungary, but really Germany turning on the jets in the last little while, wanting to feel the burn and really get their race plan in the right place. And you can see that lead got extended from about half a boat to really like open water here as that crew really pushed to the limit here to have a good race in this C2 Men's 1000.
Good to see everyone hydrating out there, cooling off. It is a hot one. And we've got the final results here. Germany, as we saw there, taking first place. The Canadian team of Craig Spence and Brett Himmelman taking second. Hungary in third. And those three going straight to the final, with Czech and Colombia heading to the semifinals. Again, it is a really hot day out there, 40 with the Humidex this afternoon, so stay hydrated. Find some shade. For those of you who are around the lake today, thank you so much for coming to enjoy these events live. For anyone who doesn't know, Lake Banook is a naturally occurring lake here in beautiful Nova Scotia. Paddling is so loved here that there are 3 sprint canoe clubs on this lake alone. Some members of Canada's national team do train here, and the passion for canoeing has been part of this community for more than a century. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we will be back at 12:20 for a special event. All right, folks, it is time to make history because for the first time, athletes from Canoe-Kayak Canada's Paddle All program will race at the ICF World Championships. This program supports athletes with intellectual disabilities, and one of Canoe-Kayak Canada's goals as it builds the Paddle All program is increasing participation through all provinces and territories as it looks to become a recognized sport with Special Olympics Canada. The International Canoe Federation is helping pave the way, recently strengthening its long-standing ties to Special Olympics International as it looks to next year's Special Olympics World Games.
And we'll have 4 races for you here that are set to get underway in just a few minutes. And we'll have the IIT, so the touring boat in the men's 200, the A final. We'll also have the IIT women's A final, the IIP in the pro boat men's A final, and then the IIT women's pro boat A final as well. So a lot of athletes coming and making the trip here to Nova Scotia on Lake Banook for Canoe 22, getting ready to race here. In lane 2, representing Ottawa River, one of our next-gen athletes from Canada, Logan Ryan. In lane 3, representing Chima, the 2022 Atlantic Championship bronze in K2, one of our next-gen athlete as well, Canada's Emmett Burney. In lane 4, representing the Carleton Place Canoe Club, the silver in men's K1 Pro event at Nationals in 2021, 4th in tourist in K1, from Canada, Daryl Clark. Nice shot from Daryl Clark here, again from the Carleton Place Canoe Club, representing Canada. In lane 5, winner of 2 gold medals at the Special Olympics World Game in LA in 2015, from Germany, Sebastian Gerke. In lane 6, representing the Balmy Beach Canoe Club from Canada, Gohulan Rajalingam. And also top 6 in the men's K1 event at the 2022 Ontario Summer Games. In lane 7, representing Chima and one of our next-gen athletes from Canada, Milo Sankey. In lane 8, representing the Balmy Beach Canoe Club and 2022 Ontario Summer Games top 8 in men's K1 event, Jeffrey Campbell.
Just lane 2 and 4, can you go backwards? Lane 2, lane 4, go backwards. Thank you.
So in lane 5 here, Sebastian Gerke, again, the winner of 2 gold medals at the Special Olympic World Games in LA at the in 2015. So athletes are just making their way to the start line now, and we will have a start in just a minute here in this IIT men's 200 meter A final. And the athletes are just getting to the start line now, and we'll have a start in the IIT men's 200 meters momentarily.
Yeah, just hold it there. Back up for lane 4. Back up a little bit. Alright, that's good, Liam. Keep coming up. Come up to the start line, Liam. Just wait there, 4 and 5. Just wait right where you are. Awesome. Lane 3. Please come forward a little bit. Lane 8. Come forward, 8. Alright, Jeffrey, move up a little bit. Keep going, Liam. Liam, that's good. Emmett, move forward a little bit. That's good. Keep moving forward.
And in lane 9, joining here from Nova Scotia, Liam Conrad representing Canada.
Move forward. Liam, move forward. Emmett, move forward. Lane 2, lane 3, move forward. Logan, keep moving forward. Emmett, move forward. Milo, forward. Jeffrey, forward. Liam, forward. That's good, guys. Keep coming forward. Hold there. Lane 4, 5, and 6. Stop. Emmett, move forward just a little bit. Emmett, move forward. Logan, move forward. We're almost there, guys. That's good. We're ready for a start. Ready, set, go.
And we have a start in the IIT men's 200 meter A final. In lane 2, Canada. Lane 3, Canada. Lane 4, Canada. Lane 5, Germany. Lane 6, Canada. Lane 7, Canada. Lane 8, Canada. And in lane 9, Canada. Really strong start here from Sebastian Gerke from Germany, the 2 times gold medalist at the Special Olympics World Games in LA in 2015. Strong performance from Daryl Clark as well, following in second. And in lane 8, in third place at this point, Jeffrey Campbell. Again, really close field now as they're approaching the 100-meter mark in this race. The field tightening up a little bit for bronze as we're continuing to see some of these athletes make a late charge here. But Sebastian Gerke continuing to push the field here and going for an extremely fast time here in this IIT men's 200-meter final. Stroke rate continuing to increase here as he's approaching the finish line. The last few strokes as he's about to take gold here in this final of the IIT men's 200-meter race. And again,
Congratulations to Sebastian.
a very close race here as we're continuing to drive for second and third. But look at this race from lane 8, making a late push here for bronze against lane 6. Both athletes from Canada, but great race in here from lane 4. Daryl Clark taking silver, and in third place, lane 6, Gohulan Rajalingam. And crossing the line now is lane 3, Emmett Burney. And in lane 2, right after Logan Ryan, crossing here in this final. In lane 9, Liam Conrad just coming in here in the last few meters of his race, approaching the finish line here in this IIT A final in the 200 meter.
Huge congratulations to all of these athletes. What a performance here. What a race.
And great racing by all the athletes. Extremely impressive performances. You see right from the start here, strong, powerful strokes from the German as he just blasted off the line. Look at that rhythm coming in through.
Wow.
And strong racing here and close racing between lane 8 and 6 and 4 here midway through the race. But what an effort here by Sebastian Gerke from Germany, taking on the gold here in the IIT men's 200-meter event.
Powering with the air over the finish line, and that celebration begins. Fostering inclusion in paddling is a key value for Canoe-Kayak Canada, and we look forward to continuing to follow these athletes, and we hope to see them at the Special Olympics World Games down the road. Now, we are going to keep the paddle all action moving. We're going to head back to the 200-meter start for the start of the women's touring class final.
And here's the confirmation of those medal positions. So Germany, Sebastian Gerke, decisive win here, followed by Canada in a number of these other positions. We're about to get started in the IIT Women's 200, but just before, if we could have the team leader from Italy to come to the tower against the team leader from Italy, if you could make your way to the tower, please. So just about to get started in the IIT Women's 200 in lane 1, representing the Ottawa River Canoe Club, 4th place in the Women's K1 Pro at Nationals last year and top 5 in Women's K1 in 2022 Summer Game, Melanie Magnon from Canada. In lane 2, representing the Pickering Rouge Canoe Club, gold in the Women's K1 Pro event at Nationals last year, Canada's Rachel Cohen. In lane 3, representing the Brudenell Canoe Club in PEI, multiple sport athlete who's participated in the 2013 and 27 Special Olympics World Game in figure skating, Canada's Elisa Chapman. In lane 4, representing Zenobia, a hometown athlete racing on her own course, Canada's Victorious Catalan. In lane 5, won 2 golds at the last Special Olympics World Game from Germany, Leona Joes. In lane 6, representing Masqua, one of our next-gen athletes from Canada, Drew Warkentin. And in lane 8, representing the Ottawa River Canoe Club 2021 Nationals bronze medalist in the Women's K1 Pro event from Canada, Sarah Madore. So athletes are just approaching the start line here. We should have a start momentarily in this A final of the IIT Women's 200-meter event. And we have a start here in this final. Strong start from the German again in lane 5. It looks like Leona Joes really picking up the power here in the first few strokes, followed by lane 2, Rachel Cohen having a really great start here from the Pickering Rouge Canoe Club. Really strong race so far as well from lane 6, representing Masqua, a next-gen athlete, Drew Warkentin as well, as we're continuing and approaching 50 meters through this race at this stage. In lane 2, Rachel Cohen continuing to drive in second place at this point, but really close for bronze between lane 3's Elisa Chapman from PEI and also Victorious Catalan and Drew Warkentin and Sarah Madore. So great racing so far between all these athletes and challenging from some medal positions here. But continuing to be Germany's race here at Leona Joes is continuing to drive here with about 70 meters to go, seeing gold on their neck in the next few meters, so continuing to push for the finish line. In lane 2, continuing to have a great race, Rachel Cohen. And in lane 3 and lane 8, vying for that bronze medal, Elisa Chapman and Sarah Madore continuing to push here as they're getting close to the finish line. But no doubt about the winner here as we're getting close to the finish line here and taking this one here from Germany, Leona Joes crossing the line and winning gold.
Yes, paddle in the air, there she is.
And getting here for silver here, coming in from Canada, Rachel Cohen. And in third, Elisa Chapman. Crossing the line in fourth here in lane 8, Sarah Madore. And coming in fifth from Masqua, Drew Warkentin. And then approaching the last few meters of their race here in lane 4, Victorious Catalan. And in lane 1, Melanie Magnon. So what a great race here in the IIT Women's 200. What a great win from Germany, Leona Jost. And then second place, Rachel Cohen. And then, so what a great race here. We'll get confirmation of our results, but what an event here in the touring category.
Absolutely. The focus and the work that went into this, it's just incredible to see all of these athletes' hard work paying off.
And you can see great start here from the German athletes, similar to the men's touring. A lot of power right off the line. That rate just so high and so focused as the event was unfolding.
Yeah. Yeah, you can really see it happening here.
And then great shot here of Rachel Cohen and Elisa Chapman as they were coming through in the middle way of their race. But Leona Jost just creating a big lead here over the rest of the field in this touring category A final here at the World Championships.
It was great to see her, despite that best lead, continuing just to work hard right until that finish there.
And again, just coming all the way to the line, every stroke, putting as much energy as possible. And as you said, like celebration right away, knowing she did enough to take the gold.
I never get tired of seeing those victory smiles at the end. It's a great one there. Congratulations, Leona.
And we get confirmation of those results here. So the winner of the gold, Leona Jost, in a 126, and then a silver goes to Rachel Cohen and bronze to Elisa Chapman. So congratulations to our medalists here in the IIT Women's 200-meter A final.
Yes, we look forward to seeing them all on the podium. And we're now going to move to the Paddle All Pro classification with the IIP Men's 200.
Again, full race here, 8 athletes vying for those medals, again in the IIP. Slightly different boats here. We'll have a little bit more speed using the pro boat instead of the touring boats as we are getting ready to get underway in this race in just a few minutes. And we'll have the chance to actually see Sebastian Gerke back in action, switching boats and heading back up. So certainly will be exciting to have him out there again. A winner a few minutes ago, but in lane 1, representing the Peterborough Canoe Club 2022 Ontario Summer Games participant from Canada, Stone Shearer. In lane 2, representing the Rideau Canoe Club in the 2022 Ontario Summer Games, bronze in the men's K1 event from Canada, Samuel Galaska. In lane 3, representing the Pickering Rouge Canoe Club, bronze in the men's K1 Pro event at the 2021 National, from Canada, Nathan Gillen. In lane 4, representing Chima, the 2022 Atlantic Championships gold medalist in the K2 event with partner Ashley Thomas, who is racing in the next race from Canada, Xavier Tyler. Coming in lane 5 is just a few minutes as he's switching boats and will make his way to the start line will be Germany's Sebastian Gerke. See him actually make his way from the top of the course there, just rounding out the yellow wave blockers here as he's going to be turning and making his way down. In lane 6, representing Rideau and the 2021 Nationals gold medal in the men's K1 Pro event and 2022 Ontario Summer Games silver medalist in the men's K1 event from Canada, Fletcher Sloan. In lane 7, representing the Pickering Rouge Canoe Club, bronze in the tourist event in 2021 Nationals, top 6 in the pro event at those Nationals, and 2022 Ontario Summer Games, top 4 in the men's K1 event from Canada, Quinn Martin. In lane 8, psyched to be out there, representing the Ottawa River Canoe Club and one of our next-gen athletes, Canada, Kevin Tobin.
Love that energy and big smile at the start line.
And there is Sebastian Gerke coming in his pro boat for this final. Again, winner of 2 gold medals at the Special Olympic World Games in LA, but also our champion in the touring category just a few minutes ago. Getting ready for this final here in just a minute. He will be in lane 5 in this event. Our athletes are just getting ready here to get the start here in this pro category of the IIP Men's 200 event. So all athletes are now at the start line, and we'll make our way down for the start of this race. Nice shot here of Samuel Galaska, and then also in lane 6, Fletcher Sloan here. So we're about a minute or two before the start of this race. Athletes just waiting to get organized here at the 250 mark. The officials will bring them down to the 200, and we'll have the start of this A final for the IIP Men's 200 meter event.
Thank you, paddlers. We have a nice line there, so just keep your nice
Just
line.
waiting for our last paddler making his way into lane 9. A long-time Sonobe athlete who's raced at multiple national championships since the early 2000s. Canada's Sam Starr making his way down, I believe, from the 300-meter mark at this point. Just joining the pack for this race.
Okay, stop your boats. All stop. Relax.
And there he is, Sam Starr, lane 9 from Canada.
That's a really nice line. Just hold your line there. That's good. So we've got on lane 1, Stone, lane 2, Samuel, lane 3, Nathan, lane 4, Xavier, lane 5, Sebastian, lane 6, Fletcher, lane 7, Quinn, lane 8, Kevin.
So once again in this final, in lane 1 from Canada, Stone Shearer. In lane 2 from Canada, Samuel Galaska. In lane 3 from Canada, Nathan Gillen. In lane 4 from Canada, Xavier Tyler. In lane 5 from Germany, Sebastian Gerke. In lane 6 from Canada, Fletcher Sloan. In lane 8 from Canada, Kevin Tobin. And in lane 9 from Canada, Sam Starr. The athletes are just approaching the start line now and getting ready to go.
Stop there, Sebastian. Stop there. All good, stop. Kevin, come forward. Sam, keep coming forward. That's good. Sam, keep on coming forward. Keep pedal. Sam.
Just approaching the starting area here, athletes are getting into position for the start of this IIP men's 200 meter A final here at Canoe 22.
Fletcher, come forward. Stone, come forward. And Kevin, come forward. Sam and Kevin, come forward. Fletcher, come forward. Sam, keep coming forward. Ready, set, go.
And we have a start in the men's IIP A final here at Canoe 22. Strong start from Sebastian Gerke from Germany. Similar racing as we saw in the touring category, just blasting off the line and taking an early lead. You can see that stroke rate continuing to be high, but such a close race here between a number of these athletes. Lane 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Close racing here for the medals. As you can see, these athletes powering through as they're entering the last 100 meters of this race. Very, very close racing here between lane 2, 3, and 6 for silver and bronze as we're coming in the last 50 meters. But Sebastian Gerke continuing to pull away from the field, accelerating as he's approaching the last few meters of this lane and taking the gold here at Canoe 22. But close racing here with about 20 meters to go between lane 2, 3, and 6. And for these medals as we're coming in, oh no, slight drama here. There's a tip so close to the line, but silver and bronze going to lane 2 and lane 3. Samuel Galaska and Nathan Gillen, and such heartbreak for Fletcher Sloan, tipping with a few meters to the line. Crossing the line now, Stone Shearer in lane 1, closing out his race, and coming in here at the finish line, lane 8, accelerating to the finish is Kevin Tobin.
Oh, just heartbreaking to see that tip there at the finish line. So,
and then Sam,
such a close race.
Sam Starr coming in and closing his race here, and great racing here by Sam Starr coming in up the line. So what great racing here by these athletes. Sebastian Gerke taking the win here in lane 5, and then followed by lane 2 and lane 3, Samuel Galaska from Canada, Nathan Gillen from Canada as well. Great racing by all these athletes here, achieving personal bests out there. Great racing in the pro category here in this final at Canoe 22.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of adrenaline for them. Just hearing the crowd supporting them along the way. We've got lots of support and lots of hometown fans cheering them on.
So Sebastian Gerke celebrating here, double world champion in these categories, touring and pro back-to-back. So certainly a lot of fitness to be able to race back-to-back like this and having such high stroke rate and a lot of power. And you can see top of the field here.
Just in control the whole time. And like you said, those two races were within 15-20 minutes of each other, and he still managed to get the energy to pull off those two wins.
So certainly great racing, and great to see our safety crew out there right away to pick up our athletes who tipped within meters of the finish line. But great racing by everyone, and great organizing by the Canoe 22 group here. But great finish here by Sebastian Gerke, coming in and lunging his boat through the finish line, knowing he did enough, taking the gold here. So back-to-back gold here for him, for the German in the touring and then pro category.
Yes, and there's that victorious celebration. Looking forward to seeing him with those 2 gold medals. As we watch these paddle all events, a quote by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, founder of the Special Olympics, comes to mind. Here it is. "You are the stars and the world is watching you. By your presence, you send a message to every village, every city, every nation. A message of hope, a message of victory." Just really impactful to see the progress and the focus on inclusion that's happening in the paddling community here and around the world. This again is the first time that athletes from Canoe-Kayak Canada's Paddle All program are racing at the ICF World Championships.
And we're just getting ready to go here in the IIP Women's 200-meter event. In lane 2, we'll have Sarah Midori representing the Ottawa River Canoe Club, bronze in the Women's K1 Pro last year at the National Championships and 2022 Ontario Summer Games top 4. In lane 2, representing Canoe, a hometown athlete racing on her own course from Canada, Leanne Salvaterra. In lane 3, representing the Pickering Rouge Canoe Club's Ontario Summer Games Gold in the Women's K1 event from Canada, Abigail Latour. And we have a start in this race. Really fast start here from lane 4. Canada's Ashley Thomas representing the Chima Bike Club here. Silver in this event at the Atlantic Championships, blasting through the field here as she's taken on the lead. In lane 5, we have Leona Jost, also from Germany, winner in the touring category, continuing to on her streak here and making a challenge here for the medals as well. Lane 6, Peyton Dix having a great race as well here, representing Chima as well. Lane 7 from the Burloak Canoe Club, Annie Leonard having a great race as well. And in lane 9, Rachel Cohen, also representing the Pickering Rouge Canoe Club, having a great race as well here in the pro category. But it is Ashley Thomas who is coming in the last few meters of this race in the lead with about 20 meters to go, keeping her stroke rate up as she is crossing and getting close to crossing the line, and will take this gold medal in the IIP 200-meter women's race. Close race for second here as we're coming between lane 5 and lane 6. Germany's Leona Jost and Canada's Peyton Dix. And it looks like Germany made it just edged out, and Peyton close to the line. And in lane 2, crossing the line very quickly, Leanne Salvaterra coming in 4th. And then across the line in just a second is lane 3, Abigail Latour. Lane 8 coming to the finish now. Rachel Cohen closing her race, and in 7th, Annie Leonard from the Burloak Canoe Club coming in to round the field. And then in lane 1, approaching the finish line and just a few meters to go, is Canada's Sarah Midori, just coming in the last few strokes, powering through as she's approaching the finish line. And what a great race here by all of these athletes. Such celebration. Great to see everyone out there.
Yes, another great race. That was the 4th race there of our paddle all events, and wow, what a way to end there. Ashley Thomas really, she was in the zone that whole race. She had that look of focus, she kept it consistent, and she really pulled ahead right from the start.
Yeah, what a performance.
Celebrating.
Great race here for Ashley Thomas, taking the win, gold at the World Championships here in IIP Women's 200. Right away here, sporting her Pikachu hat as well, going in through it. But you can see right away taking that win, and such powerful stroke throughout the entire race. Focused, you can see that look on her face, knowing I'm going to take gold.
She's in the zone.
Great race as well. Peyton Dix here, very close, taking bronze after Leona Jost taking silver here.
I really can't think.
And what great racing here. Again, as we said, such powerful stroke, determinations, and seeing that win by open water here as we're seeing Ashley Thomas take the gold.
Racing over the line.
And such a close race here for second and bronze between Leona Jost and Peyton Dix. Germany coming in second, Canada in third. 4th place, so close as well. Leanne Salvaterra from Canoe, Home Lake, and coming in 4th place at the World Championships.
Amazing, and how lucky for all of us that we got to witness history there. Really can't think of a better group of races to take us into our first break today.
And that's confirmation of those results. So Ashley Thomas, world champion in the IIP Women's 200-meter event. Leona Jost coming in second, taking the silver, and Peyton Dix in bronze.
Congratulations to everyone who competed. Congratulations to all of the athletes in those 4 races, truly making history today. So racing does resume at 2:30 with the women's K2 200-meter heats. And thank you to our platinum partner, Nova Scotia Gaming Corporation, and Support for Sport. Now, the Support for Sport program actually raises funds for training and development opportunities for athletes, coaches, and officials throughout Nova Scotia. And they are the proud sponsor of all of our volunteers who are making this event possible. So while the action on the lake takes a break, things are ramping up in the festival area. On the first up with RBC X Music stage, you can check out Dartmouth singer-songwriter Eric Stephen Martin. RBC X Music provides a platform for emerging Canadian artists to showcase their music, share their stories, and reach new fans. And while you're checking out everything happening on Prince Albert Road, don't forget to stop by the other finish line. That is in the festival zone. You can enjoy a cold beverage provided by our partners Nine Locks Brewing, Lake City Cider, and Coldstream Distillery. So Pierre-Luc, are you ready for your pre-lunch pun?
Yeah, hit me, Fraser.